This is Captain Valen inviting everybody to the sporadically annual mental help stream. Today, we're starting with 100% Captain Valen for inviting everybody to the sporadically annual
Oh,
mental
oh
health.
gosh, that's so cringy. uh, my name. I made that name like 5 years ago, and I wish I could change it. I really wish I could change it, but I can't anymore. So
Yeah,
kind of screwed on that.
I'm glad I didn't get involved in social media till literally my 30s, or else I shudder to think. I shudder to think.
I have. I still have whenever you're like in junior high and you get your first email address, and it's always something cringy.
I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours.
So I've had multiple. Oh God, no. No. Well, I mean, I think it's on my YouTube channel. I think it's on the channel. Is
It
it?
is.
It might be on. Oh well.
I've taken
Maybe.
everything off mine, and it was Karama Theo at Hotmail. That was my first email address ever.
Yep. I've always had Gmail and a Yahoo and Outlook while I was in
Oh no. Okay, I take it back. My first email was actually setomanslave at yahoo.com. Thanks for making me remember that. That's just hurtful stuff.
Everyone had cringy ones. Everyone had cringy ones.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh Lord. Now I'm just going back to junior high and I'm like, oh God, that was such a cringe time.
Did I not post the link into... No, I did. Alright. Sorry, my phone's being weird.
No, it's okay.
But, since we're all here and I might as well start, allow me to start by talking about what we're going to talk about today. Today's topic is the idea of self, that intrinsic part of who we are that makes us who we are. And not just by virtue of, environment or nature versus nurture or things like that, but the part of you that you know the truth of and literally no one else does. And that's the part of you, in my experience, for myself, I'll speak, that allows me to, better myself and push myself. You know what I mean? To live up to this little piece of who I am. And what that, I don't want to say entitles me to, but what that pushes me to accomplish, I think is a better way to put it.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. And
Dragonfire at yahoo.com.
Wait, sorry, a little louder.
The chat, Samurai Wanaguni. His first one was Dragonfire at Yahoo. That's not cringy. That's a great email.
That is a dope email, sir.
Like that is awesome.
Dragonfire at... I wish I thought... Do you know how much better that is than Seto Manslave? Do you?
Yes.
Yeah. Sir, leagues.
I'm jealous. My Yahoo is just Charlemagne, Holy Roman Emperor 500, because history nerd. It's a very long one. It's very long. Yeah. This is my first mental help stream. I don't know what to do. I never know what to do with streams. I'm usually the one that just hosts in quiet.
I've noticed that. You put together this huge Amazon Lily thing, and then you're in the back like a church mouse, the whole time.
Yep. Hey, I'm just not a talker. I don't know why I made a YouTube channel. I'm not a talker. Especially when I was in, I did a lot of Braga streams for a while, and I was always the quiet one. I was always really, really quiet. And then I would just say random stuff, really quickly, when there was a pause. And then I did that. That was what I did in the first reverie I was in. And everyone just kept telling, everyone in the chat was just like, get her out. We want Sun Patch. And I'm just sitting here like, I'm just quiet. I'm sorry. Then I yelled at Sawyer, so you know.
Yeah,
I haven't been welcome back since.
People can be rough on these things, but there's the exact environment I hope to avoid with these.
Yeah, I want to be the one to create it and be like, okay, everyone can go with it and everyone can talk about whatever they want to. I'm not gonna judge. I'm just gonna sit here quietly. If I judge too much, I will mute you.
And that's fair.
I've had that conversation. I think it was one of the earlier ones, and I told them, you know, before we went live, you know, like, you know, I don't want it to be very, I hate using the word cancerous, but I didn't want it to be a very talking over everyone. And I did flat out say, like, look, I don't care if you have your opinions, but if you keep talking over people or you keep pissing me off, I will mute you.
And that's fair. That's your stream. You got to run it with an iron fist, or else people will try to run.
When I'm in other people's. Yeah. Well, I mean those are they're nice girls, so.
Yeah, and thanks for letting my wife in on one of those, by the way. Like, she was so interested in the idea, like that she didn't think I would be able to approach it or she'd be able to do it, and now that she's had a lot of health issues and the baby and stuff, and now she feels like she can't talk because she's been gone for so long, and it's one of those weird things.
No, yeah, I'm planning to do one in October, so she's definitely welcome to come. Just have her DM me or DM me, and
I'll see if I can push her into it.
All right, if she does it, I'm not gonna push anyone to do something they don't want to do, but she's always welcome to come.
Yeah, of course. It's never going to be the same if somebody doesn't want to jump in there.
No. Yeah. We've had Pitch, the artist, come in a few times, and it's always been, she's always kind of been one of the people that she gets really anxious about it, and I just keep telling her, you know, if you don't want to do it, I'm not going to make you do it.
Yeah.
Like, you're welcome to jump in if you want.
Yeah. That's super fair.
We're good. Yeah. You got the link, we're good. So she'll be in our group chat just going through. I don't think this is a mental health topic.
Yeah, because honestly, you know who, not to bring up a sideways topic, but the situation with SARS? My wife told me about that before I ever knew about it in the streets, or the Twitter streets, as it were. And I was like... I was so mad.
I can update you. She called the cops on him, or she got the cops on him.
Good.
And we basically kept telling her, like, either shame and name or cops. And she shamed and named, and then that whole shit happened. And
I can't believe he bought a like, I didn't know you could actually do that. Like, nope. I thought it was something people said about people who were popular. You know what I mean? Oh, they just bought all those likes. I didn't know it was actually a thing.
Yeah.
Just that whole situation, it really opened my eyes, because I'm not really involved in a lot of stuff, and like I'm happy with my wife and shit. I'm not out here, you know, with all the ladies and such, so I don't really know much. And just stuff like that, I'm like, wow, people are fucking insane. Like,
yeah, and just and I think it was difficult because then all the drama that happened after that, like when Dustin went live, I was livid.
Yeah, I honestly, I understand his personal thing, because he's got a real personal itch about this particular thing, and but he just that wasn't the way to do it.
No, I was livid, and I think a day, like, I was sitting there sobbing. Oh, hi, Sage. I was literally sobbing.
Yeah, that's a sob-worthy thing. If something like that happened to a friend of mine, I would do the man version of sob, which is punch things.
Well, and then a day later, because I knew I had a biased point of view, so I reached out to mutual friends, and I'm like, am I in the right for this? Like, I know I'm pissed, but is it warranted? And they didn't really know the whole thing, and I basically told them, like, what are you gonna do when your friend comes to you crying because they called her a slut and victim shamed her? I went off. Sage knows. She
Yeah,
remembers.
Yeah.
that was. Oh wow, Sage
Hmm?
is so. I don't know. Is there a way for you to turn up your mic, Mads?
Hold up.
Me?
Yeah, because compared to everybody else, you're super quiet.
Me?
No, 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 no.
I'm
You're
sorry.
just the same
Not
as me.
me.
She's
Uh,
the dainty one.
Oh no, I don't know if I can.
Oh
I'll try
no.
to be louder.
Uh,
Okay.
all
I'll
right.
try. I'll
Scream into the
try.
mic like a rock concert.
Uh,
Oh
oh god. Oh god. Well, we're not on a topic of mental health right
yes,
now,
we're.
so.
Hey, that's honestly, there is nothing that doesn't touch upon mental health. That's the thing. People like to create these
True.
borders on what does and doesn't affect mental health when really everything and anything can affect your mental health. And people, some people maybe will say, I don't want to use the term stronger than others, but some people may have been inundated with more trauma, so they react differently or less. They react less than people who haven't had an amount of trauma. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any person stronger or weaker. It's just a matter
Yeah.
of experience. And people tend to use their experiences as a means, as a metric of strength. I myself am very guilty of
Yeah.
this. Like, and use that metric to judge others. I've tried to get myself out of that, but it's a very much a victim mentality. Like, if you've been through a lot, you judge others by what they've been through, and it's fucking horrendous. It's the stupidest thing in the fucking world. It absolutely is. All it does is create enemies where there could be friends, literally.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, my bias from BTS has a birthday today, so I'm on there. I'm on their fan page.
Oh, BTS.
Simultaneously. Yes.
For the longest time, I thought they were just talking about behind the scenes, and I was like, I don't get why people
I know.
are like. I just thought it was like little clips and shit. And I was like, people are really obsessed with this, and then I learned and felt stupid.
Yeah, and then I was curious, like, and I YouTubed like, oh, behind the scenes of like a music video or something because I'm at 3 a.m. because I'm weird like that, and I got and I got into BTS, and I kind of got into it for a few hours, and then I haven't gone out of that hole ever since. That was about 2 years ago. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Sage, to let you know what the stream is about. It's
Hmm.
about the concept of self, the understanding of
Oh,
who we are.
God.
Yeah, it's a big one. As opposed to who we are to face the outside stimuli of the world, even that little piece of us that's just for us. And hey, J Wolf, J Wolf, you are always welcome in these. If you want, I'll put the link. I'll just put the link right here. Anybody who comes in can join. Nope, that's okay. I'm dumb. Dum. There's a link to the stream you're already at, guys, if you're interested.
How am I able to have a Zoom open like this and not know what my login is? Like, I'm so sorry. To cut long, I'm trying to put a little picture, so there's a little picture, but like, fuck knows how you do it, and I'm just having a little moment, like.
Go to the here. Oh wait. Shit, how do you do that?
Do you do that?
Okay.
But yeah,
okay.
concept
Sage,
was.
Sage. Oh, sorry. On the Zoom.
Yeah.
Go to click participants.
Yeah.
And on where it says your name, hover over it,
Yeah.
and you'll get a mute or a more button.
Mm-hmm.
And then edit profile picture.
Nope.
Well then.
Well, guess it's just Sage for now.
Guess it's just Sage for now. Hey, buddy. Are you all right?
That's fine.
Do you want to say? Let me turn the picture on because you're an adorable little guy. Boop. Hey. You want to say hello,
Aw.
YouTube? YouTube.
Hi.
Hello. He's waving. He's waving.
Hi.
Can you spell YouTube? All right, buddy. Don't put anything you can chew in your mouth, even if it is a USB.
Oh God.
No,
That's
that's my boy back there. I'm fitting to go full Maze Hughes on the Twitter line. Like people are gonna start unfollowing me because I'm like, look at my baby picture. Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well.
Just don't die.
Don't die.
Just don't die.
Well, hopefully I don't meet some change shaping hussy who puts a finger through my heart.
Never go to a phone booth.
Never go to. Yes, I. You know what? I'm from New York, so that's already a rule.
Oh, I'm from the sticks. We don't have phone
Oh,
booths
fair
where
enough.
I'm from. We don't have those.
Oh, jeez. What? True. Bethany's here. That's
Sage.
Madison. You can say hi.
Hi, Madison.
Hi. Hey.
That's the camera.
How are you?
I don't know if you can see or not.
I'm obviously not showing up.
Wait, I know how to do it. Let me do that. There we go.
Hi. Hey. How are you?
Good, how are you? Sorry I haven't been in the chat.
Oh, I'm good. Oh no, you're good. You're good. We're gonna do another Amazon Lily stream in October, and you're more than welcome to join if you want.
I only heard that you're doing it in October. I'll try to do it, but no promises.
You are welcome to come in if you want.
Okay. As you can tell, I got my hands full.
We'd both do. Oh, look at
Oh,
show
yeah,
some
I
skin
see.
here. Sorry about that, folks. All
Wow.
right, downstairs,
No. It's nice to meet you.
bye.
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 There we go.
Come here, buddy. What do you what?
There we go.
What?
See.
These are not toys. You cannot have them. No.
No, you got to go
So,
downstairs. buddy.
He's asking for it.
cut a long story short, trying to work out how to put my profile picture on made me close the meeting.
I'm
Professional.
doing my own stuff. Just give me a second. I'll be right back. Everybody's really
No.
pretty. I'm sorry.
No worries. No worries. We'll
You're
just talk
good.
about mental health.
Here we go.
But,
Put that up for now. I'll be right back.
I think
Okay.
one thing I have to say about self is it doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. Like there is no such thing. There's the concept of persona, but self I'm not so convinced by. And most of that is due to the fact that there would be one identity left when everyone else was gone if there was self. And there isn't. There's loads of different thoughts running around in my head, loads of different versions of me making different decisions. And what you do is so important compared to what you say and compared to even what you think. Like, you can think something horrible but do something beautiful. You know? So what is self? Well, it's just don't exist, really.
I see that, yeah. Usually for me, when I think of self, I'm going back to my therapy now, because we talked about this. But I've never really known a self type of thing. I've always kind of just been meh, if that makes any sense. I know I'm getting bad, like slipping back into a lot of depression and getting an anxiety. I know I'm getting bad when I start being more negative, I guess. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not how I usually am. So I guess myself is basically, I know when I'm getting bad when I'm not acting like what I know is myself, if that makes sense. If that makes any sense.
It makes sense, and I understand it because I've been through similar. Like, have to identify. I have to find the identity of myself to separate it from my symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
But, and it's a huge but, when my symptoms occur, they're still me. They're not magically something else. They're still me. It's just they're a side of me that we currently call a symptom. And they're a side of me that we currently diagnose. Now, am I grateful that that's the case? Slightly. But part of me worries that medication, when somebody's identity spans lots of different places, might not be the best thing. Like, they might need therapy to isolate the parts of what they refer to as self that they want to keep, and then help them get rid of and maintain a life balance between those things. It's all very complicated, dude.
And yeah, kind of. I agree with like the medication part of it. Um, I've been on medication since I was 11,
Mm-hmm.
but it was for migraines, not depression.
Mm-hmm.
And but those go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So I've always had that. I don't want to say looming over my head, but I've always kind of had that thing of this is a depression medication too. Just kind of thinking about it and just looking back on it, even then, I think that very much altered how I viewed myself, like self as its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that altered it, and then I've grown up. I'm 24 now, so that's like really long time, over a decade of just having a new self or having a different self than I did when I was a kid. And you can't really ever go back to it. And I don't know what that is anymore. All I know is what I've been like with anxiety, with depression.
Mm.
So I don't know what it's like without it.
I mean, my diagnosis is bipolar, which means that like it's something I had all my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, like it got triggered and that made it worse. But like it's not something that was like never there before. So I don't really know what it's like to be neurotypical. I only know what it's like when I feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
And that definitely makes sense. Like the idea that medication somehow castrates the individual of its sense of self, from its sense of self, has been a huge point of contention for a lot of people being on putting their children on medication. I myself started when I was like fucking somewhere around 4 and 5 is when they started putting me on antipsychotics. And at the time they would just throw whatever worked. I don't remember names. I was really too young for all that kind of stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But as I got older, they progressed into, I don't know if y'all know what Depakote is. So,
what's the drug name rather than the company name?
That's fair. Diaxoproax sodium is the compound. It's essentially an antipsychotic.
Oh, so is that in any way related to lithium because it's a type of salt?
Yes.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah, it is.
You know that you've gone through the mental health drugs when you know how, when you can be like, oh, that's that then, isn't it? Oh God.
And on today's chemistry lesson.
Right. Exactly. Mr. Wizard wishes he had this. Anyway, I may have just aged myself. I'll be quiet now.
No, you're fine.
Yeah,
I
just told you
he
how
was
old I
around
was,
when I was
so
a
I
wee
mean.
little, and before I was even in the homes, he was like on Nickelodeon doing science.
Whenever I was a kid, me and my brother never watched like Disney Channel or Nickelodeon because we didn't know they existed. We just watched Cartoon Network,
Fair. I was
and it was like,
Of our generation, that wasn't even a bad plan.
right, and what was it? I used to watch Eureka's Castle. That's some shit I remember. I don't know if they had that across the pond or
I
whatever, but it was
remember.
just puppets and a castle getting into some shit. I was here for it.
Fair.
I like Shaolin Showdown.
Yes,
That was fun.
Shaolin Showdown was solid. Man, I
See,
remember
Shaolin Showdown is just at the tail end of my childhood. Like,
Same here. I actually felt weird watching Shaolin Showdown because of how old I was, but I was like, well, it's dope, so here we go.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. I watched Phineas and Ferb religiously. Like,
See, that's one I
Love
never
that
got
Here we
a
go.
chance
Now I
to
can
get
hear
into.
everybody. Here we go.
Oh, shit. We got Hype Beast in here with us today. How you doing? It's the
I'm
Beast
good.
of
I'm
Hype.
good. I'm good.
Glad to hear it. Today's topic
Not
is
mentally,
the sense
not
of
mentally
self.
good, but I'm still good. No.
Yeah, that's, hey,
I think
that's
we're
why
all not
everybody's
mentally
here, man.
good.
mate, that phone
Homie Valentine
call.
the back call, so I had to answer.
Hey, I appreciate it, sir. Right now, really, we're having a chemistry lesson. But
I heard it. I was listening to the stream. I was in the comments from me. I was like, let me join.
Yeah, I saw this. I saw your comments. I never
let
know
me-
what to do when it's just
There
me
we
and
go.
someone else. So adding more people helps. I get really awkward. Oh no, my candle fell. Sad day.
But nah, I've been battling weight all my life, so that's something that I'm always willing to help everybody else with.
That's fair. That's actually something. One of the topics I was going to speak on. One of the things that kind of pushes or enhances our sense of self that we didn't realize. And for me, I'm not a pretty person. I've never considered myself an attractive person, regardless of what everybody else may think or whatever. You know what I mean? How I feel about me and
Yep.
whatnot. And I've never been a skinny person. You know what I mean? I've only like once or twice had like a 6-pack in my life, and once was from malnutrition. So I had the Jesus. I was like
Oh,
Jesus
no.
ripped, you know, like.
Yeah.
And then
You was
the
jumping
other
and
was,
ripped, then. Okay, I got it.
yeah, and the other was actually like effort and Pilates and shit, and I felt good about that. But I am the heaviest I've ever been right now, and I realized the other day that I haven't looked in a mirror in months.
Oh, nah. You got to do that.
Yeah, and it's like I shaved my head. Like I told her, like at this point it'd be like 2 hours ago because I couldn't stand the way I couldn't stand to look at myself, so I had to change it up. And I, for one, I'm almost ashamed of myself, like for being that shallow is really what it is. But I just never realized how much of my sense of self was tied in to my physical appearance. It's not something like it's something I've only actually even cared about for like the last, when did I start school? 7 years ago, 8 years ago. Yeah, for like the past 8 years. You know what I mean? And it's
That's a
just-
long time though.
It is, and you don't really, you know, with you know the kid 3 years ago, like time just goes, and like even now I'm like, fuck, it was 8 years ago. God, I'm old. But it is what it is, and for me, my sense of self changed, and I remember it because it was the best compliment I've ever gotten in my entire life. People were talking about their families. It was getting to be like Christmas time or whatever, you know, they were like, oh, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that. And someone was like, what's your mom and dad going to get you? And I was like, I don't have a mom and dad. I'm an orphan. And they were like, oh shit. Cause you know how I dress and stuff. They're like, oh, I just assumed you came from a good family. And I have never felt so good in my entire life.
No, I feel that immediately. So we said, I was like, this guy's going to be over the moon with that shit.
I had a little hip in my giddy up the whole day. I was like, I might have a good family. God damn. But I remember in that moment that how good I felt, and it was because of how I portrayed myself. And it didn't like sink in as much, but it definitely like at the time, but it definitely left such an impact that I have to be this way now. You know what I mean? Like, it's just things creep up on you, and the question is, can you pinpoint something in your lives that has influenced your sense of self?
Oh yeah, I definitely can. It's one of the craziest stories I ever had in my life. Right? It was one of the first summers I meet my dad. Well, I was like probably 12 or 13. At that time, I had like big man boobs for a middle schooler. And so I didn't know that, contrary to belief, my mom and my dad were talking to each other, at least conversating about problems between me and them.
Mm.
And she was like, well, the kids in school are making fun of him for having titties. So,
Oh no.
yeah.
Mama.
Oh, yeah, nah. Yeah,
Damn,
I used to get made fun of a lot when I was younger. So I came there for the summertime, and I'm taking a shower. I'm like, this guy I'm meeting my dad, obviously just got out of prison. So he's like, hey, I'm in the shower. He opens up the shower. I'm like, dude, what the hell? I know he's got out of prison, but chill out.
Rough. Continue.
But I'm like,
Savage.
but I'm looking, and it's funny because he's like, no, I just want to see the man titties my damn self. I was like, wow. So I think I finished it. He left out. I finished the shower. I get out, it's in the living room. He's like, okay, so what we're going to do now, since we're working on that. I'm like, wait, I didn't sign up to work on this. I just want to sit here and chill for the summertime. I don't even know you like that. But he's like, no. What we're going to do, we're going to make you do 100 push-ups every day during summer until every week it's going to go up 100 more. But until then, until you finish your 100, you're just no dinner. And I was like, wait. So you're telling me I got to struggle for dinner? He's like, yeah. I was like, fuck. So 100 push-ups first week, second week 200, and from there it kept going on and on. Only time I had a break was during the weekends, but when I came back from going back to school, I was so fucking jacked.
Right?
When I came back for the summertime, I was so jacked. Like the kids had to make fun of me. Like, nah, now it's my turn.
Right.
But,
come back. Who was you calling bitch tits? Kapunk.
Yeah. Which is the reason why my mom knows that I was upset about my chest, because one time, this goes back to like a trauma I have like that. Like I used to be scared to ask women out because before in high school, like I said, in middle school, I was made fun of a lot. And there's this one girl that I chose. Like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ask her out. I'm gonna get the balls and do it. So on the school bus, I'm on the way. The first thing in the morning, I ask her out. She says yes. So I'm like, yeah, okay, we got it. It gets worse from here. So the whole day, I think I'm talking to the chick. And at the end of the day, I go on the bus, sit beside her. And she's like, oh, you really thought I was serious? Everybody in the bus busted out laughing. All right, now I can laugh at it now, but at the time I was traumatized.
Yeah, of course you are. Like, what?
Everybody in the school was in on it.
Oh god.
Yo, what did you? Okay, I got to know for me. What did you do?
What did I do? I laughed along with it, and when I got to my bus, I was like, "Oh shit!"
Okay, you're
Wow.
better than me. Because I had a similar situation, and I behaved in a way that I as a man and as an adult, and for the past fucking long ass time, am very ashamed of.
But I was glad when I
didn't hit
came back from
nobody.
the summer
I
with
need
my
that to be
dad.
said.
Because she had asked me, I was like, "No, I'm good."
Kudos to you, sir. Kudos to you. All right, Sage, Mads, you got any moments that hit you and really helped push your sense of self?
I know this is ridiculous, but I know it's one that definitely pushed my sense of self. And this was when an art teacher wouldn't let me use paintbrushes. So I just painted with my fingers. And it got to parents' evening, and my mum was like, hang on a minute, why are all of her paintings like a bit sloppy? She doesn't paint like this at home. And he was like, well, she finger painted them. And my mum was like, why the fuck was she finger painting at school? And my teacher was like, well, she couldn't be trusted with paintbrushes. And my mum started screaming at this man because he was a bully and he was trying to be like horrible to me all the time. And like I told my mum, and my mum was like, surely not. Meets him, completely believes every word I've ever said to her. And in the middle of parents' evening, is just being like, "You fucking prick!" And I'm like, my mum is the most kind, quiet, soft woman. And she just stands up, all 5 foot of her, and starts screaming. And I loved it. And I was like, yes, this is my path, art. Because I knew that I wanted to fight for it. I knew it's something that I enjoyed so much that I was going to fight for it. But it was also something my mum was going to fight for. And I was like, fuck yeah.
It's not like he was expecting you just to quit and just not do nothing.
No, like, that's not me. Like, mm-mm. But he was horrible. He also marked my papers as like a fail. And I got them remarked by someone else. And I got like a B. So, like, yeah, that teacher really didn't like me. Fuck teachers, man. Like,
I know teachers have a big effect on kids, students. They don't know it.
When
I don't think they realize how big of an effect they have.
When I was in, I went into this on my Twitter, but when I was in 6th grade, I had a really bad year. My teacher was very math oriented,
mhm.
very much someone that we spent 5 out of 7 hours on math, specifically on math. And this was this was like in elementary school when you have one teacher. You don't go to different ones. And she began to pick and choose people she thought were better at math and started dividing up our homework. So the people she thought could handle it got the harder problems, got the harder math assignment, while the people she thought couldn't didn't. And it got to a point where it was just me and this other guy on the easy ones. And she would basically humiliate us, saying, why can't you, this is why you can't be on this harder homework part of it. Like, this is why you can't do it. And, like, what is wrong with you? And I would just cry all the time. And we would have parent-teacher conferences. And my mom, I'm realizing this like now, looking back, she would go in there, my mom and I and the teacher would go in the classroom and just talk, and the teacher would start crying. Like, she would just start like crying, like, I love Madison and I really want her to do well, and just start sobbing. And my mom and I are looking at each other like, what is going on? And we had multiple different
Was she white?
meetings. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Knew
was
it!
gonna say.
Yeah. We had multiple different ones, and she would cry and use that as like a way to manipulate it, so it looked like she was okay and I was the bad kid. And my mom would basically just looked at her, and it just made her uncomfortable to the point where we would just leave.
White tears have been doing that for generations.
Yeah. So I would have to do my homework with my best friend over the phone because I couldn't, just to get it done, because it was all math and I'm not a math person. I'm a history person. But it humiliated me to a point where it's like, it put a block on me doing anything math or science related. That kind of stuck with me. And I've always kind of been, it really affected me because I'm like, okay, I'm stupid. I'm not getting it because I'm stupid. I'm not doing this because I'm stupid. Because I wasn't put on that harder thing. And it really, when you're like 12, it's a very like a traumatic thing when you're constantly told, you know, you I don't know why you're not getting it, and it's my fault instead of the teacher's fault. So that was depressing. That kind of just stuck with me till now, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But it was something that really just fucked up my how I looked at myself in terms of like academics, which to me is a huge part of my life currently. So it's still something that just stay stays with you or stayed with me. Oh, that's the end of my sob story. Oh, that was a lot of talking.
Like,
No, that was good, and and Chris in the chat has the way of it. People forget how big an influence teachers have on the lives of their students, which is to say, fucking everybody. And we pay them like fucking Mickey D workers.
Yeah,
I am of the
it's-
opinion. See, I have a lot. Yeah, I'm not going to get into this. I don't.
no, I think teachers should get paid more, but they should also enjoy their job and have like an evaluation of them every year or every semester.
No, I
Be the
disagree.
students.
Teachers should make at least $100K a year. They should have no financial problems in their life. That is my personal opinion. Because you know how much of
I
their
don't
own
agree.
money they spend on their students? At least, like,
Probably their own
honestly,
money.
3K.
I don't
of that is
know
going
whether,
back to their
like-
students.
Yeah, that's why I said they should get paid more. Because
And
there's
who
lots of times I
is-
had a teacher that had pizza parties and it came out. I didn't know it came out of their own pockets.
Yeah, I mean, I
Hello.
agree that teachers definitely need a higher pay, but like 100K, like what? Unless America's that inflated now, like what?
This is a very
no,
good time
teachers-
to judge on money with COVID.
Teachers make around 65 to 70. Like, professors can make more and stuff, but teachers, and honestly, like I said,
Wait,
3K
100K is probably like 50K then, isn't it, for living?
Yeah.
So like a midwife, for instance, coordinating midwife, about the same as a teacher. Like that's my mum. She's in the like what 36K bracket, 38K,
Mhm.
and that's a good wage in England. So I'm like sat here like what?
Well,
Buy
okay,
you anything.
America. Honestly, we vary state by state because you can't come to New
Okay.
York City and pay the same amount for the soda that you would in, say, like Bumblefuck, Kansas. You know what I mean?
I see,
Hey,
yeah.
Don't judge Kansas.
How did I know the one thing I was gonna say would be the place?
Well, okay, well I'm from Missouri, but still Kansas.
Oh, that's all the same.
We're right on the border. But yeah.
They don't mess with don't mess with Kansas' cousin, Missouri's cousin.
Mm-mm.
But just some out of
We
the way
have-
place where you can get a Coke for $1, and then you go to like Hollywood or LA and you get like $5 for a Pepsi.
But it was
Mhm.
hard to eat. It was hard to survive in LA. I'll tell you that much.
Could
I was like, what the hell?
I live out in the sticks, so a lot of the food around me isn't necessarily the most expensive thing. When I look at it on the thing of, I go into Kansas City and it's like a meal at like Wendy's is like $15, whereas where I am it's like $8. And I'm just like, that's a very big wage gap just within a 30-mile radius.
Oh yeah, so it's bonkers and it's ridiculous. But real quick, hello Raul, welcome to the chat. I heard you able to speak finally.
I yes, so I heard on uh heard on uh 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 Hype Beast's story about the girl that said that she wanted to go on a date, but she didn't really want to. Well, this reminded me of a time in my life that that well, this was back in 2009, and then there was a local local a local uh, theater, and and then s- and then so one of the um uh, 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 s- so one of the Fast and the Furious movies came out came out uh around that time, and s- and then oh I wanted to take a girl out, and then and then and then hold on, sorry. uh uh and then and then oh, there was this woman, uh and 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 she was about a year uh older 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 uh, older than me, and then so I sorry, hold on.
It's okay, buddy. I got pets too.
So okay. So s- uh, s- so I thought, hey, this Fast and Furious movie came out. So I'm like, there's this girl. So there's this woman that I see, uh, in uh, in in now in some of my classes. So maybe I can take her now to this movie. And then I went up to ask her, and 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 she said yes. And then I gave her my phone so she can type in her number. And then and then after school, then I walked to the local movie theater because uh it was literally 15 minutes from where I lived. And then so so when I got done with school, then I went home and got ready and stuff. And then after that, then then me and this woman uh talked to me at a certain time for the movie. And then when I got there, um then like after 20 minutes, I'm like, okay, so maybe she's running late. And then like after 45 minutes, I'm like, so I messaged her, and I asked if there was anything that was going on right now that she might be a little late. And then and so far I got no message back or no phone call. And then so I'm like, okay, so I'll just wait a little bit more. And then and then and then so I ended up waiting for 2 hours for the movie. And then and then after those 2 hours, um then I'm like, okay, so it seems like that she's not gonna be here. And so instead I just went to the movie theater and just bought a ticket for myself, and I just watched the movie. And yeah, so that's yeah.
That's a
Sorry
shit
that
thing, bro.
happened
I'm
to
sorry to hear
you.
that.
I don't know, but when when uh, when when hype was talking about his story, that just remind me of something something that uh I went through as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it happens to a lot of people though.
My man,
Because
Yeah.
man, that is a
Yeah.
hurt. If we sharing stories, I can at least throw one out for everybody to commiserate on as well. One time I was fresh out of the homes. I didn't really. The only way you can talk to girls is on field trips. You got about 18 seconds, so it's a whole different ball game than when you see somebody in
He
class a
dating.
lot and things like that. So I didn't know how to handle that shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I learned the important lesson that not all girls are gonna be honest. And I asked this girl if she'd go out. She was like, yeah. And so I was like, sweet, I'll pick you up after school. She showed up with 3 friends to make fun of me on my whole walk home. When I tell you, I've
Wow.
never been closer in my life to fist fighting 3 women.
Wow.
And to this day, I don't understand why. I mean, granted, my hygiene and clothes and understanding of myself were very, very piss poor. But I ain't gotta be like that, Jesus.
Right.
Right? But everybody's been hurt by the opposite people. Dudes, I have seen the things dudes do to women, and it's the same shit. You know what I mean? Everybody hurts somebody, and that shit sucks. And I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And if it does, not to monopolize with the men's side of the stories, do Mads and Sage have anything to add to this, or you just want to?
I think my favorite Sage got ditched story is the dude that was really, 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 really hot and used to video call me and be like, "You're so exciting and interesting," and all that. And then, like, we stopped talking. Like, it just fizzled out. But then a month later, he rang and was like, "Oh, I miss you," all the rest of it. And I was like, "Oh, cool, like maybe we should meet up or whatever." And so he never turned up.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, I know why he did it. It's because he's really good looking and he thinks he can get away with that shit. But, like, I shouldn't have been so silly to think he'd turn up a month later anyway.
I've never been on a date, so I've never really had.
Honestly, count yourself lucky. People suck.
People suck.
Right, it doesn't matter which direction you're going in life. People suck.
You know what the worst bit
Yeah.
is? I'm with someone, like, at the moment, not in a relationship of any kind, but, like, with them.
Oh, the picture you showed me
Like,
of that cutie?
huh?
The delicious
Kane.
hunk of chocolate you sent?
Oh, yeah, that's the one.
That's a delicious hunk of chocolate.
It is yum, 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 yum. Sorry, that's really bad, but it's so he's so pretty. Oh, and he's from the Caribbean, so he's got a really nice accent as well. but even then, like, he's like, "I have a love for you," and I was like, "So do you want to stop talking to other girls?" No.
Mm. You know what? Okay, that's a hit, but that's a hit with honesty. You know what I mean? He could have said yes and still done it. You know what I mean?
No. The thing is, like, he's honest, like,
And
and
that's
that's what I like about him.
what's up.
Like, that is what has kept me around and probably kept him around, is my return honesty.
Yeah, I showed my wife that picture. She was like, damn.
Sage, can you DM that to me? Because I'm
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Mate, he sent me a picture of himself in the shower. He's even got muscles in his armpits. It's oh.
I don't want a shower pic.
She's
No,
like,
I
"Let's
wasn't gonna
calm
send
down
you the
here.
shower
Let's-"
pic. I was just commenting on it
She's
because
She's like, I'm just remembering fondly. That's all.
I'm just remembering my, you know. Ugh.
Good
Well,
thing the face
I
cam
gotta
aren't on.
figure how to get this tracker off my face.
Oh no, it's really annoying. I keep looking at
Like I'm trying to juke this bitch.
like he's trying to
Oh,
box
he
you
sent
in.
me a smiling selfie the other day as well, and you know a boy likes you when he smiles for a picture.
That's true.
No, literally.
It's the truth.
is
Otherwise,
true.
we mean mugs, so you think we're like strong
Yeah.
and powerful. It's the truth.
I don't smile in photos.
Yeah, no, that's oof. Ticks a lot of boxes, he does.
There you go. And that's honestly with my wife. I got out of a relationship, and I was like, "Listen here, Jesus. I will not hoe around. I will not cheat on the person if they get all this." And heavens to Betsy, it happened. So I told her, I was like, "Listen, I asked for a lot of stuff, and the world put you in my way. So I'm gonna snatch you right up." And that's what you do. When you see what you like,
Dang.
I'm still
dang.
currently looking for mine, but it's not working.
Same.
all right, maybe let me rephrase that. Consensually snatch it. But
Now I know what you're talking about, Sage.
Yeah.
yeah, I told you. That's a delicious thing.
Wow. Sound like Madison's butt short.
He really is.
Oh,
Look at-
You
look
wanna
at
you
Hype
wanna
Kid.
see it
He's
too,
like,
Hype
I'm a
Beast?
delicious hunk of chocolate too.
Yeah, I feel kind of left out now.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
no
can-
worries. Give me 2 seconds.
You can actually put it in the chat on Zoom.
Oh yeah.
You can
Oh
what?
no, I can't because I'm on computer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was giving you that option.
No.
can,
Oh wait, actually, I
put
might
it-
be able
You
to.
can screen share, yeah.
Don't.
I'm not gonna
But-
screen share him to the whole of you.
Everybody sees it.
Well, I'm just trying to help the world, that's all.
Oh, God.
That took a sideways turn on all that delicious chocolate. But we're gonna move our way back and get back to the concept of sense of self. Now, one of the things I was curious about is, do you have moments where others helped influence your sense of self? And I want to speak specifically in a positive way. And always I like to lead with an example for myself so that everybody feels comfortable saying what they have to say, knowing that, I will. And aside from the compliment, because that helped, that was outside stimulus, but that's more like a specific incident, not a prolonged shift based on the people around you, if that makes sense. And for me, that was right when I got out of the homes, because when I tell you, because certain things can still get me in trouble, so I got to figure out a way to word this properly. But I was not a good person, and I made my money doing not good things. I've supported myself since I was 15, so please excuse it. But I met somebody who told me I could be better than I was being. He saw something more in me than I saw, and it wasn't a single conversation. It was just the way he spoke to me versus the way he spoke to everybody else. And everybody else started to pick up on it, and they started treating me slightly better, and so on and so forth. And that's when I started to develop the goal that I had for the vision of myself. Like, I didn't wake up and decide to dress like this because I never fucking thought of it growing up. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't wake up and try to, speak better and learn about jewelry and wine and try to find my way into a better place in this world just out of a whim. It's not just some like orphan thing. I was happy doing the crazy illegal shit that I was doing because I didn't know any better. But the lessons and the conversations with this person helped me see that this is the lowest level of what you could be, and there's so many more levels to it that nobody wants to talk about. You know what I mean? Like, it's fun being on the street, hanging on the corner with your friends, doing, what was it, hood rat shit with my hood rat friends, you know? But there's people that they work for. You know what I mean? And that's what he taught me. He's like, just look at the ladder and try to go up it. And that was like kind of the overall message of years and years of conversations that pushed me into like understanding that I know nothing. And he kept, oh, this is a good anecdote now that it just kicked into my brain. We were going through Walmart back when I used to like actually shop at Walmart, and he picked up mayonnaise. He was like, you know what this is? I was like, that's mayonnaise. He was like, that's right. If you can buy this at Walmart. And I was like, that's the good stuff too, right? And he was like, yeah, that's right. That's Hellmann's. That's the good stuff. And he's like, it's name brand. I was like, exactly. He's like, do you think Jim Carrey uses this shit? You think Usher uses Hellmann's? No. There's levels to everything. And, you know, you just moved on from there with other shit, you know, like brand names ain't shit. Like people like Tom Hanks, you know, don't fucking eat, you know, fucking Kellogg's cereal either. They have their own fucking thing. Like, there's levels to this shit. And if you want to get this shit, you have to learn about these levels. And that's what propelled me to be more ambitious. And it turned me into an ambitious person is really what it was. Because, like I said, I was content and happy doing hood rat shit. And now I'm just ambitious. I have a drive to be better, and a drive to learn how to do it. So sorry for my little monologue. Who's up next?
No, it's all good.
Hype Beast, it's on you. I made a decision.
All right, let's do it. Bet. All right. Shoot. Like, growing up, I still had two father figures almost. Like, my little brother's dad took me in under his wing. And from him, he was like, dude, don't worry about like what people think about you. Do and wear what makes you happy. Right? And so, because for me, I used to be worried about, okay, if I wear this, the people in school are gonna look at me like this. He's like, let me tell you what he said. Let me take you aside real quick. Don't give a fuck about what they say about how you look or wear. Just wear what you want to wear. At the end of the day, he said, people that do have money, they don't really care what they wear. Like, they wear Walmart shoes, Crocs, and all that shit. So don't worry about it. And so now, you can't get me to dress up for nothing. It's good and bad to this point. Like, I'll dress up for occasions, but now I'm mostly in casual wear.
Yeah, same.
I wear sweatpants so much my dad calls it the hobo look and got me a hobo stick for my birthday.
I would love that shit. I would love that.
Great. Got the little bandana thing at the end of it too.
I would take it
That's
everywhere.
awesome.
But even then, at that point, I did have a speech impediment. But I worked on that myself privately, because that's the only thing that felt like it kept me back a little bit. But I worked on it a lot. Like, I used to sit in the mirror and talk to myself, like, not talk to yourself, but practice.
Yeah. I think I have two people.
What's that, Matt?
I have two people that helped or kind of made me think about it and made me realize what my sense of self is. One was a drive-through lady at Wendy's. I always try to be nice to people because you don't want to burn bridges. And I just don't like fighting with people. It takes a lot of energy. And I've worked in customer service, so I understand like shit happens in customer service. Like, I'm not gonna yell at you if you mess something up, but there were these kids and they were in front of me and they were screwing around with going through the drive-thru, and they were just like screwing around when they were ordering and just being a giant pain in the ass. And I went through and I just said what I wanted, and I went along my way. And then the lady at the where you go to pay, she's like, I just want to thank you because you have shown that there are nice people in this world, because I wasn't a dick like the two people in front of me. And that really kind of made me think, okay, I want to, I can think about whatever bad things about myself, but I always want to try to give people the benefit of the doubt and always try to be someone that can make their day a little better. And then the second one, my cousin William, he's autistic, and he is the happiest person you'll ever meet. Like, he is literally the happiest person ever. And every time I'm with him, it always makes me want to be happy too. It always makes me want to develop kind of have my personal self be as happy as he is, because he's just happy without even thinking about it. So those are my two people. One of them I don't know the name to. The other one,
That's fucking awesome. Like, the second one's obviously
don't
fucking
be a
beautiful. You know what I mean?
drive-through.
Like,
Yeah.
and that one punches me in my heart, and I'm gonna try and live that life with my son. Try and like internalize that, because he's the same way. He's just a happy kid, you know, and that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and William, he's 21 and he's still the happiest thing ever. He's got his moments, you know, like he's got his moments. Everyone has their moments, but he's still just the happiest person you'll ever meet.
See, that's what's up. All right. Raul, do you have another name to go by, or you just want to go by Raul?
That's from Phoenix.
That's what?
From Phoenix.
Phoenix?
Yeah.
All right, Phoenix. You got something you'd like to add? Anybody who's helped you over time gradually, you know, positively affect your sense of self?
Yeah. So my well, when I when I started my first channel, I was struggling a little bit with on my channel, that I wasn't getting much subs, and then also there was not a lot of views for my videos. But then someone with a much higher subscriber count messaged me on my Twitter and said, I can help you with your channel. And then he pretty much told me that I had to put like thumbnails on my videos, and also put more descriptions on my videos and stuff like that. And then after that, then it helped a lot.
All right.
What's good, guys?
Oh, there's another person here.
That's Chris.
Yeah. How you guys been?
And
I've
then,
been on Earth.
and then also, another person was my old wrestling coach back in junior high. So the thing about him, that he was blind, and he's been blind since he was 17 years old, and even though that he was blind, uh, uh, he knew uh, he knew that he knew what he was doing when he was teaching us to wrestle, and then also uh, I I saw the uh, respect that people gave him, and then and then and then uh that's something that I want to uh, uh uh achieve in my life is to get that worldwide respect, because like that's like something similar to now to me, because I got speech impediment, but once I'm able to achieve the stuff that I'm able to, then when people see me, they're like, so even though that this guy has a difficult time talking, now this guy has done a lot of awesome stuff.
That's awesome, man. Being an inspiration to others is one of the best things you can choose to be with yourself. And there's not enough positive inspiration in this world. Or that in 2020 it feels like there's fucking none.
Bro, 2020 feels like the toilet and it's just flushing downwards.
I'm to a point where everything's burned down and just it's not good. It keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
Every month from the beginning of this year.
So you think this is bad? What if we set California on fire again?
Stay tuned next month.
Oh, God.
Right?
Mine's more so every week. Like
Seriously,
a different member of my family's died like every week.
Oh,
yeah, same.
I'm so sorry to hear that. That's horrible.
It's at this point 2020 I'm just done with it.
Yeah. I felt so bad. My dad I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
My dad had died on the same day as Kobe died. I was like, I don't even know how I'm supposed to present this to everyone because everybody's grieving over Kobe.
Oh, God.
And so
I would have just know this. I would have grieved your father over Kobe any day.
Yeah, I understand that, but at this moment I was like, me seeing everybody agree, I'm like, I'm not worried about Kobe at all. I'm worried
right?
So just seeing it was really annoying to me at all, period. But my dad always told me if something happens, make a joke out of it. It always makes you feel better. So the best joke I can make out of it was like, at least my dad can see him for free.
Oh. They waiting in line together and shit. That's dope.
He's like, oh, you made it here the same day, yeah.
Yeah, when Chadwick Boseman died, I made a meme about it, and it made people laugh. Yeah, which is good because people say humor heals the soul, even dark humor can heal the soul too.
That's true. Everybody grieves in their own different ways. But I want to take a second and I want to give Chris his time to speak, as he's tried to say hello a number of times. And
shit, get the VIP treatment. No, I was kind of tuning in, especially what you guys were talking about before with like the educational piece. Mm-hmm. Interestingly enough, I just started my degree again, but this time over for my master's for educational leadership. And so right now I'm actually working with a lot of school districts and stuff to kind of help them right now with, you can imagine the unemployment shit going on. Because I know Minnesota, it's crazy. It's like 45, 50% of everyone's unemployed. I don't know how bad it is for you guys right now, but it's gone crazy. Like I just moved.
My wife's a doctor and she hasn't been able to work since this started, and like she's just going to work Monday. Like,
Yeah.
it's been fucking rough all over, man, and that's like I said, she's a doctor. We had at least a little room with preparation and savings and stuff, you know, and I'm blessed to have that because I know there's so many people that don't.
Right. Yeah, I was at Target the other day actually, in the cities, and there's this older woman, probably like 60s or so, and she just kind of had that teacher vibe about her. So I was just asking, hey, what got you here? Because I hadn't seen her before at the Target, and she was like, "Yeah, I used to be a teacher at one of the high schools," and she was only getting paid like 50, 60,000. But it's kind of sad to see like people that were doing pretty well in their life are moving all the way down to making $15 an hour. It's gone crazy. So I've been kind of working with a lot of like the schools in Minnesota State to kind of help them make some unemployment plans. And we actually started up a food pantry across the state. And I know from my school, I actually got a bunch of volunteers and donations. We had over $100,000 yearly contract donated to the school with only 2,000 students in like the cities. And so we were feeding like 300 people a week. Then with our other locations, we were getting over 1,000 families a week. And I know like the early part of this year, like Sage especially knows, but I know BB and you saw it, like shit. The start of the year for me was pretty bad, but it's gotten a lot better in a weird way. I feel like I might be the cause of 2020. But no, there's a lot of good karma that's coming. And like you guys were saying like a minute ago, even though it sucks really bad, it's kind of like you have to be that influence, that inspiration in this time of like really bad depression, anxiety, and all the shitty things that are going on. I think it's time to kind of like be that leader in your community and really step up, because like you guys were talking about with the teacher aspect of it is shit. We all had that teacher that was really amazing in our lives that like made a huge difference, hopefully. But then we always had that shitty teacher that like, gave us that anxiety or that depression to speak or shit. I know in first grade, they wouldn't even let us use the bathroom sometimes. It's fucking bad. But no, it's just one of those things that I feel like with everyone that's listening and with you guys, like shit, even doing these streams is a huge thing to help a lot of people, I feel like. But good shout on you guys for doing it.
And that's honestly the whole reason I do everything. I started out thinking I wanted, like, I want to be, I don't want to say like Ninja or PewDiePie, but I want to be somebody. You know what I mean? And once the kind of the hype of that mentality drives down, and it really should if you're a thinking human, you know what I mean? And you kind of assess it with, from just any other angle other than the hype. And
Yes.
you realize, and you start to think, and da-da-da-da-da, and I realized pretty early on, that's why I've been doing these for almost, when was the first one? Has it been a year? I really don't know. But
it lets people know that there's not only them that's dealing with problems, everybody else is doing something similar.
Exactly.
They're not alone.
And I said it once in a Dustin stream way back, like, I want to be the emotional All Might of the Anna Twitter community, as it were.
I feel you.
You know what I mean? Like that person who can just show up and be like, listen, I am here. And just fucking help, like depression smash, whatever.
Yeah, like I know, like for me, like watching Trent streams when he used to stream, the workout shit, that was a huge thing for me because that, I started working out again this last year or so, after about a year off, and shit, that was just a good motivator to kind of get back into the rhythm. And with you guys, I think just doing group discussions, that's a huge thing to kind of bring more people into it and kind of realize like the amount of similarity that we've all lived through. Mm-hmm. Even if we're in different positions in life, we all have like similar shit that we went through. Shit, yeah. Everyone, like, 30 minutes ago, talking about the teacher shit, all had that same teacher. Like, you guys described it perfectly to each other, and you're all kind of clicking, like, yeah, I remember that shit. Mm-hmm. So, no, it's really good to have that circle of, understanding for a lot of people. I think it's huge in this community because we all know, like, Twitter is great, but there is definitely the really toxic shit that goes on.
And, like, I had a teacher that got me sent to juvie. I mean, okay, technically my actions did, but she brought upon me.
She's like, yeah, get him the hell out of here, bitch.
She snitched hard.
Oh, no. I definitely deserve to go for what I did, 2020 in hindsight and all. But like she basically did to me what she did to Madison. She singled me out. She made me feel like shit. She made sure everybody knew that I wasn't up to snuff because I was dyslexic and I couldn't read good. You know what I mean? Well, I say was, like I'm not anymore. But
Nah, I'm hella
right,
like
and
illiterate
and
to this day.
while Madison had the emotional strength to actually cry and feel her emotions, I did not. So I threw a desk at a blackboard, and like a piece may have fell into her hand because those things shatter.
All right. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's sad though because those are the teachers. Like my uncle actually, for a long time, he's still doing it now. Is taught like ACL schools. So those like that don't know that, that's like before you go to juvie, right?
Mm.
That kind of delinquency school. And he did it in like the inner cities. Like I'm sure you guys heard about the Minneapolis shit going on. Like he taught there.
Mm-hmm.
So like he was doing that because he was raised in North Minneapolis, and he always got stabbed like a few times, and people pulled like guns on him and knives on him at school. But now like instead of like being the shit of them, right? Like you'd normally do, is he actually like kind of sat them down in a weird way and like kind of got through their brain like you can go down this route and end up where you're gonna end up, or you can choose what you want to do with your life, and like make something out of it. Maybe you're not the next like Amazon CEO or whatever, but like you can find success and happiness in its own way. I'm sure all of us can relate to that to an extent. Like we might not be the richest people, but we're all pretty happy to an extent, right?
The phrase for me like that was, you may not be Bill Gates, but you don't have to be a number. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to be 2576.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't need to be a random person that's just disregarded.
Holy shit!
You can make a huge difference.
What is Jean Valjean's number? Did I just do that shit on accident? Sorry. I mean, I don't know anything about Les Mis. Let's continue.
But yeah, no, I just think it's really important, like right now, like with everything going on, that like this is the time for a lot of people to step up. I know in my community, like shit, right outside my apartments, there's a bunch of homeless people out, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago from like the riots and shit that moved from outside of state. Like, and when I'm saying a lot, I'm saying like over like 100. It's pretty crazy. And instead of like, like going crazy on them, like the community, like the bars especially, started actually feeding them and like helping them find like transportation back to other states, or like even putting them in like homeless shelters and stuff like that the proper way. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like they could have gone a different route and like called the police and had them get kicked out or do whatever, but they went more of the humane, the proper route, which is kind of interesting. So it's one of those things where I feel like there are people that are definitely making use of the crazy shit going on in 2020 to make a great impact for a lot of people and for themselves, versus those that are just kind of sitting idly by and doing nothing.
Yeah, and
I hadn't done stuff in a long time, and with all the shit 2020 did, I'm like, oh, I'll start getting back into it, and then ideas came, and here we are. But it's definitely it's a good time to do something that matters.
And that's true, because as people know, I'm a religious person, and they say like the devil lives in the idle hands. Y'all seen that movie? The idle hands do the devil deed and all that jazz. And it is true. Like in that, not doing something is contributing to the bad thing you're not doing something against. And that doesn't mean you have to rally and protest 24/7 or whatever like that. You know what I mean? Like, obviously that's not the lives everybody can lead, but you can, when you see something, you can do something about it. Like, I see so many videos of these fucking Karens just being racist and all these people just being racist, and nobody steps in to punch them in the face. Now, I don't
I'm
agree
seeing
with
more and more
violence.
surface that end that way.
I don't agree with violence, but I agree with racism even less.
Yeah, I do.
I am seeing more and more like people standing up for people in videos these days, and it's kind of nice to
start
see.
tagging me in them bitches, because I need
You
to
want
see
it?
please, because that's like good shit. Like, I want to see that, because all I ever see is these fucking people. I did see the one dude who rocked that fucking racist fat ass behind him talking shit, calling him boy with that hard R.
Oh, I saw that.
Dude, I hate that shit. And like, part of me is like, I'm waiting, because this is gonna happen somewhere around me, and I'm gonna be like, boy, you stay here, I'll be right back, and I'm gonna Superman punch somebody from the left of the camera.
You should have said.
Son, like, oh my god, what happened to that man?
There's actually people out here kidnapping kids too, though. It's crazy part.
You
Right?
should have seen the
Yes.
one where this woman jumps and fucking double kicks this fucking bitch like down to the ground because like she was being a full scale Karen. And like it was the most glorious
Yeah, see,
moment
I
I've
need some more of
ever
that
seen.
because I saw the
Oh
one,
man.
the one hype beast was talking about where some dude jumped the thing to try to snatch a kid away, and when I'm telling you, that'd have been like you could just tell them to bring a body bag. They ain't gonna be nothing to drag through because this man's dying. All right, this world is getting
What
crazy.
with the
and I
man
see
in the
too
black
much of that
shirt?
shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna lie, that totally. A video, you know what video sticks with me to this day? Anytime I take my son for a walk, anytime we're walking through a fucking store.
The knife. The
Yup.
knife.
You fucking
I
know
knew what it was. The knife.
that knife. And I'm 6'1", 6'2" if I wear 6'2" and a half, if I wear the right boots. And I'm like right now I'm like 280, but I'm usually like 250. I'm not lean, but I'm definitely not like scrawny, you know what I mean?
Dude, how do I weigh more than
And
you?
I'm mean mugging everybody who even like looks in my child's direction. You know what I mean? Like real hard. And
I was talking with, I went to get pizza with one of my friends I haven't seen in a while because that's what we do. We go get pizza in COVID because, great times. Dairy-free cheese is absolutely disgusting, by the way. Anyway.
Yes.
But we were talking about, I don't know if it's like kind of a girl code type of thing where if you're in a place and someone keeps like bugging you and someone keeps following you and you kind of just go to like a specific little like a group of girls and almost immediately they're your childhood best friends. And before COVID happened, I was at our local bar being very responsible and it's a small town bar. Everyone knows everybody. And there was this girl, about half the people at my table were like really, really drunk. I'm usually sober. I'm the DD. Yeah. And I remember all these fun stories. But we were sitting at a table just eating and doing whatever. And this girl came up and because this guy had kept following her. Like followed her into the bar, followed her everywhere she went, and kind of just wouldn't leave her alone. So the girls at my table were like, okay, like, here you go. We're instant protect, like, okay. And the guy wouldn't stop. And he came over to the table and he wouldn't fucking stop. So I got to a point, I'm like 5'9.5". I'm not very scary. But I towered
but you're
over
a tall
him.
girl.
I just like
that's tall for a girl though.
slammed
Most
my
dudes would be
hands on the
intimidated by a
table.
5'9" lady.
Yeah.
Like I just slammed my hands on the table and stood up and I'm like, square up, dude, come on. Like leave us the fuck alone. And it kind of just whenever like I see like a girl or even a guy, because guys have this problem too. It's like I'm not like if they keep following you, like we're childhood best friends. It's okay, come on.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't seen you since we were 6. Like it's just it's scary.
Bro
That was a random
code.
tangent.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
I've bro coded people. Just been like, yo, I've never met you, but you're my childhood best friend. And I've also lesbianed people and been like, oh, my girlfriend, how beautiful. Let me give you a cuddle. Oh, there. Why is this horrible person talking to you? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of scary. I've been on y'all side of
You
the
have to
spectrum
be.
for a minute. Did not like it. Like I had a friend. She's lesbian and she's Asian, so she goes to gay bars sometimes before the COVID and stuff. Right? She's like, well, I need a big guy to come with me because I'm small and I'm like one step away from being a midget, so I don't want to get stepped on or anything. So come with me. So I come with her.
Yeah.
And I realized getting hollered at is the same way as if I'm female in gay bars. I'm like, dude, I'm straight. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm pretty sure I like vagina. So, and then it's to the point where like the person will come back again. The same person circles back and is like, how much for it? I'm like, bro, what the hell? And so
Yeah.
being on that side of the spectrum, I know how it feels, I guess, for females to be like pursued.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you're creepy. I'm not taking no drink from you, bro. It's not happening.
All right. You can say what you will, but I used to go to gay bars to boost my self-esteem. Like, I got a bunch of gay friends. We would just go and shit. And, like, dude, I would get hit on all the time. Like, oh, who's the big bear? And I'm like, oh, stop. You know,
I'm not going to lie. It does
you know
boost
what
your
I mean? And
self-esteem
you
a
start-
lot. You're like,
but-
okay.
But that's because that's what I go there for. You know what I mean? There's a difference between the people who go there to be hit on and want to be hit on, because you can feel that energy. And then there's people who do it to people who specifically don't. And there's that energy too. And you know it when you see it and feel it and it's right in front of you. You know what I mean? Some people specifically go to do that shit. And that's where the problem lies. People just want to shit on everybody's vibe.
And that time I was like, I'll put it this way. At the time I was extremely fit. There's no other way I could do it to let you know how extremely fit I was. I could show you a picture. And you're like, yeah, okay, you're not leaving the club without getting hit on probably.
It's a ferocious atmosphere. I will give you that. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was walking down. I went abroad a few semesters ago, and I went with my friend Henry, who is a guy, and he's taller than me, so he's fairly tall. And we were walking in downtown Athens for a school thing, and this guy kept following me. We were all in a line, like going, all the students were like in a line and we're going to the bus or whatever. And this guy kind of just jumped in behind me. And I'd slow down and he'd slow down. I'd move and he'd move. And I'm sitting here like internally freaking out, like, am I going to have to punch somebody and get arrested in a foreign country? Because I don't want to do that today. I didn't bring enough Xanax. So I kind of just like look at my friend Henry and I'm like, Henry, be a dude, please. Please be very scary. Like, please. And long story short, I never went anywhere without that kid for a while.
That
Really
was
random. Sorry.
that was me. I'm like, yeah.
And therein
No, that
lies
was
the
definitely me
difference.
at that situation.
See, and therein lies the difference between, you know, me going to, like, it's so unwelcome and so all the time. And if the theme is sense of self, then the constant objectification and objectification have to contribute so much to each female's sense of self. It just has to. Like, I'm not saying that like as a man or mansplain or whatever. It's my opinion that it if I had to go through that, it would totally alter who the person I am is. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to be as 2020 about this bitch as possible. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna let a lady talk.
I think my sense of self when it comes to being female generally is dysmorphic. So I don't know if I'm a good representative of how to feel to be a woman. Like, a lot of the reason I do my extra makeup is to try and make me associate more with my own kind of body. It's not that I feel like I'm a man, it's that I more don't consider myself anything. And the concept of my meat suit having some form of identity towards it associated with my genitals is just terrifying. But then I'm, a bit odd. I don't know. I don't think I am, though. I think a lot of other women go through it. That kind of not feeling female enough because of the size of the various bits of your fat deposits that are meant to be in specific places but not in others.
Yeah, like that's that's really what it comes down to. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine not, when for the most part what I hear is, it's really hard for a dude to talk about this shit. I'm trying not to get canceled, Jesus.
Cancel you unless unless you cross a line, we won't cancel you.
All right, I'm just trying to speak in the sense that if I knew intrinsically like that I was going to be judged the same way. Well, all right. Corey Matthews versus Topanga Lawrence. All right. The
Right.
way that their characters were marketed, portrayed after the third season was so markedly different because they needed an attractive female to sell the series. And while one was able to stay goofy and, fluffy hair and not be any different, the other had remarkable changes, all in the sense of changing from being, while she still stays scholarly and smart, she changed from being who she was to being just another pretty person. You know what I mean? She didn't stand out in a crowd except for the fact that she was prettier than most, if that makes sense. As opposed to before, she was that weird kid in the sundress chasing butterflies. You know what I mean? Like, she was a whole different, unique person as opposed to becoming the idea of what that generation thought of as attractive. Is that a
I
fair
have a
one to
good,
say?
like-
Is that?
Yeah.
Mm.
I've always had a good quote, a good little line I thought of. You preach individuality, yet you condemn those that don't conform.
Uh,
That
Those
was-
are facts. Those are facts. Oh, Raul, you want to say something?
yeah, it's like sometimes it's like sometimes after just trying to chase a lot of women, sometimes when I don't feel like just trying to flirt with a woman, sometimes that I can just want to just have a normal conversation with a woman. And when I do, then it backfires on me because so sometimes when I message a woman and then I ask her and I say, "Hi, how are you? My name is Raul. So how's your day?" And then the thing is, which is weird, is that that some women, when they message back, they're like, "Oh, you are a really uh, a really ugly uh, uh, motherfucker," and then I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I was just here to say hi and ask how you were doing, and then you respond with that, and I'm like, okay, and then I just shut down after that.
Do you know? Are these just happen to be people that you see that you say hello to strike up a conversation, or are they already friends?
I know that they're people online, and then when I point out that that was rude and that you shouldn't say something like that, they would say, "Oh yeah, well, well, right now, right now, that I do not care what I say because I mean everything that I say, and you are really uh unattractive, and also you're fat too." And
All
I'm
right,
like,
I'm sorry. I'm gonna give you some
"Oh,
advice real quick. I hate to interrupt you. When people do that, that's mostly something they're doing with themselves, and they take it out on other people. You know what I'm saying? If they're saying if they're saying that to you, most likely they're saying it to themselves internally.
yeah,
It's something within them that they don't like. So don't take what anybody say to you in that as it's concrete or as it's liquid. Let it roll right off your back, like water in the shower. Because basically, situation like this, it's not gonna be too long before their well dries up, and they're gonna be looking for people. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So when stuff like that happens, just don't think about it. Like it's more people. There's more efficiency. You ask Valen. Valen knows me like Valen knows everything about my personal life almost. It's about if there's
Yeah.
someone I don't like, if it's a female, there's a trait I don't like. It's easy for me to say, okay, I don't like this. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Same thing with other people. There's many other people in the world. Don't be stuck on what one person says, because at the end of the day, their opinion doesn't really matter. It's what you feel, what you see yourself as, that matters the most.
Yeah. And us and us and so far I've been trying to work on myself to make sure that I'm healthier, and then so far I've lost 15 pounds right now.
Fuck yes,
That's
bro.
a good
Good
start.
shit, man.
That's what's up.
Val, I sent you a DM.
Yeah. 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 So I thought things were too cluttered for my last channel, and then so when I come back to YouTube, then I'm gonna have more than one channel, so things can be more organized and stuff. And then right after I deleted my first channel, then I also deleted my Instagram and Twitter. But so I'm gonna be making a new one soon, and once I do, then I'll message you.
Yeah, man, you're welcome to any of the streams I'm in. All right. All right, now Chris, you
Sorry.
get to speak.
I'm glad you see the DM I sent you.
Now it's Chris's turn.
So for which part of the top that you guys were talking about a second ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, one big advice I got when I went through some shit last year was when it comes to relationships, whether it's like with the opposite sex or just like in general, like friendships even, is honestly just don't try to please other people. That's, I feel like, one of the biggest things I've learned, like even more so recently, is just don't feel the need to try to, change your mindset or your view. Because in reality, especially like look back in high school, we wanted to be someone else sometimes than we were to get that person, especially if it's like a girl or a guy. And what ended up happening, we might have got them, but it was short-lived because we found out that that's not who we are. And it's kind of that fake persona that we put on. And it's never a good thing because it eventually comes off. I mean, time always rots that shit away. So I feel like my advice for him would have been like, work, like you said, work on yourself, whether it's working out, exercising, even doing like meditation. A big thing for a lot of people I get advice to is someone in education is go to school, find out what you're good at, find a trade. Shit, if you're good at like, machining or doing the lawn or whatever the case may be, find that confidence in what you like to do and what you want to do, because the money will find you. If you're good enough at what you do, I mean, the money will find you. Shit, YouTube, for example, that was never a big thing for quite a while. I mean, most of us should know that, but there are people that make a shit ton of money off of it because they found the passion. I mean, like you said earlier, Valen, like this at first was, kind of like a, I don't call it an ego thing, but like a hype up thing for yourself because you want to be that next big person.
Yep.
But eventually, like, shit, like money aside, like I could make a huge difference in the community.
Exactly.
That's kind of that thought that helped, give you motivation to do what you're doing, And so I think my best advice would be just do what's best for you, because eventually you'll find the right person. I mean, we've all been to it where we've, found the person we thought was good for us, but, they kind of try to force us to not be who we want to be or who we are. And that relationship fades away. But then when you find that person that's really your partner in life, you'll kind of find out that, hey, this is a long-term thing and they're here to support me. It's a 50-50 thing, but it's also I'm going to help them out as much as they should be helping me out. It's not I'm going to make them bend towards my will, or I should bend towards their will to please the other person. That doesn't work ever in any relationship. I mean, so that's my best advice for him would be just kind of focus on what you think you need to do as an individual, work on it, and people will come to you afterwards.
And this is literally the perfect segue to the next section I wanted to talk about, which is relationships and self. Now, it doesn't have to be like boyfriend-girlfriend relationships. It can be like you and your best friend, you know what I mean? And the way you grew closer or apart or this and that. You know what I mean? I'll start with 2 examples, one being a close friend and the other being a romantic paramour. The first one is, to this day, I don't think I've ever had a friend. Well, okay, I have had. Anyway, we were always together. He was literally like the Silent Bob to my Jay. Literally. And we worked together, like we had an apartment together and stuff, like we hustled, we did our thing, and I didn't realize that like he was one of the reasons that I was so happy doing this, because friendship is hard to come by when you're in the homes, and I found a good friend, you know what I mean? And through him I learned a lot more about like outdoorsy shit, you know what I mean? So I'm more of like a survivalist now, like than I was when I was 15. But
Prepare for Man versus Wild.
Actually, wait, is that? Yes, that is. No, which is the one with Les Stroud? Survivor Man. That's the dude right there. Les Stroud is the survival fucking pimp, and that is he would beat Bear Grylls, and I stand by that. Let them both go out into like wherever, and then we'll see who comes back first, and I'm okay with that. Because it doesn't really affect me. But it, I didn't realize that he wanted. It's not that I don't know how to put this. Like, he was happy being like the dominant friend because he was the one with the money and the family and the like whatnot. He helped get the apartment because it was like his friend's apartment first and da 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 da. So
You know,
was
the
like,
connections.
you know how power dynamics go with friends, and he was happy. He was just more than happy to have that. And because of that, I was like, I don't want to say like a bodyguard, you know what I mean? But he was like 2 and 3 inches shorter than me and like a foot thinner. Like, he was just a real skinny person. Like, he could handle his own, but like he wasn't really like a combative type. And I guess I didn't realize until much later when I tried to go to college that he just didn't want me to excel. Like, I was trying to get him to come with me too. I was like, listen, yo, we can do this. Hey, we can make money on campus, which I did. And like, we can fucking get an education at the same time. We can come out of this stronger. You know what I mean? Like, we can do this shit. Like, it's fine. And he was just like, no. And then when I was like, well, I'm doing this. I really feel like this is the only path I can take right now. I need to do something better with myself. And he was like, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And literally, we haven't hung out since I started going to college. And I found out he took the rent money that I paid when he was living with me before, like, we stopped being friends and shit. And it sucked. It took me so long to realize somebody was holding me back because of how much I love them. And you can love your best friend. It's not romantic. Calm down. You know what I mean? And yeah.
Sorry, I didn't have no pause yet.
So yeah, and that's one example of a friend negatively influencing you. And I will use. Oh no! All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is gonna hurt me. I don't know, but me and my wife literally got into a hollering fight, which we don't normally do. We're very communicative people. We don't yell at one another, but when we do, we do.
They usually give looks, and that's it.
It literally just happened. Literally, we started fighting at like 1:15, like loud yelling fighting, and it was about the fact that, and it's not that I don't feel that she's supportive. It's just that the fact that I don't make money doing this takes away from the fact that I view this as like a part-time job. You know what I mean? And that the fact that she views it as less than that makes her act a specific way. And I'm curious. I don't want to word this in a biased way, so I have to like be careful. You know what I mean? I don't want to like create an answer in the question. You know what I mean? Because that's definitely not fair, and there's only one of us here. But how do I put it? Yeah, it's just that. And I feel, and she's like, well, you don't make money, so it can only ever be a hobby right now. And I'm like, this is true, but if I don't get the time, how can it become more than that? and obviously we have kids. They come first in all things. So I'm literally only talking about like the weekends right now, not even during the week while she's at work and stuff, because obviously the kids are the first thing. And she's very fair to say that this cuts into the time for herself, and that's fucking super fair. And she wanted me to bring it up to the chat, to the people, to everybody in here. What's up? What do you think? Am I blowing things out of proportion? Is she not taking things into consideration? We're both entrenched in our ideas, but we are not so closed-minded and unintellectual that we can't crowdsource?
I want to answer, but I want to answer last because this is going to kind of go into a tangent.
Oh, all right, that's fair. So, all right, let me have it.
Who wants to start off first? Otherwise, I can go, but it's going to be kind of like a 5-minute tangent.
I mean, one question. Am I understanding correctly? You view this very much as like a part-time thing, like a commitment.
Yeah.
And somebody else in your life, I'm assuming partner. Yes,
Yeah.
cool. Is feeling like it's a lot right now.
It's a lot at all.
A lot at all is how she feels. Okay, cool. I'm just double checking because like I'm real bad at like everything, especially this baked. But what I will say is if I've understood the premise, I have to be honest with you. Your time is something that has segments, and some of it is with your family and some of it is with yourself. And your self-time, that's your self-time. And as long as you're not breaking the rules, then you're having fun. That's fine. However, if your self-time interrupts your emergencies frequently and starts getting in the way frequently, then you have to reassess how much and when the self-time occurs. And that's just my honest opinion as what I know my dad had to go through. Because my dad loves technology, loves to sit up in his room, do technology, hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Unfortunately, when you are raising a baby, and you see the dilemma already, you can't unfortunately recluse, but you do deserve self-time, and that is important. And no one can dictate your self-time as long as it's definitely in the rules of morals. And your self-time is. So that's my honest opinion on the track.
All right. I'm writing this down so that I can show her as well.
Yeah.
So that she can have the thing. Anybody else?
All right. I'm gonna be honest with you, as always. Did you find out a good compromise between what was made and what she wants? Did y'all actually sit down and figure out a compromise for it?
The problem is, it would be a lot easier if I was able to have a set schedule with things, but it's really hard to do a set schedule with at least the big thing I'm doing right now. I'll be honest, is the Pathfinder game. That's like kind of like the big project I'm on. And with one of the players, she's a veterinary surgeon, and she doesn't really get to choose her hours so much. You know what I mean? She doesn't get a set schedule, like 9 to 5, this or that, so it pops around. So when she's like, well, if you can just get a set time, I'm like, I would fucking love to, but I can't. You know what I mean? And
that's the main issue then.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, is there a way to get the set schedule from the partner at the beginning of the week? Or it varies from day to day, that there's no set schedule?
Well, I get it. Basically, you know how you're when you were a kid, or whenever you had a job, like they would just give you your hours at the beginning of the week. It's kind of sort of like that. I ask in the beginning of the week, so who can play when, and then we find out.
Yeah, that's also a good way to compromise. That way, you have a set time then at the beginning of the week. If she doesn't fall in within that week, sometimes you gotta start, and hopefully she'll hop in later on. That's the best way I could say it.
I think
Other than that,
Paul was really adamant about not starting without everyone. I think Austin might be a little more lenient, so that's actually a good one. I have to remember to
Right.
switch some things up. Thank you.
the best thing to do is just start out at that set time, and there's usually a good window of time that she gets off. To like, usually no one ever gets off like big hours of times like 7 and one time 10 o'clock. No, but you should have at least a good hour or two grace period what time she should get off, and just set from that time period for the day.
All right. So essentially, compromise to her time. Let her pick the time that she needs, and then I work around that.
Yes.
All right.
You don't want to make it like business orientated because it's family.
Yeah, no,
Family
fair.
is family.
And obviously, like the kids come first in anything. Like, you know what I mean. So that's, yeah, that's that.
You don't want to end up being that old guy way up in the attic working on stuff while the kids are downstairs doing their stuff.
Right.
You don't want to be that type of father or family like husband or anything.
Mads, you got anything or? Take that silence as a no.
I said no. Sorry. I'm really quiet. Sorry.
All right. I was like,
I didn't pick up.
all right.
Yeah, I don't have much. Just prioritizing time, I guess. But I'm the literal worst person to ask about that.
Well, you're here, so you're not. Womp womp. All right.
Time is a very precious commodity, though.
Phoenix.
Yeah. So well, the thing is, so first of all, that I don't know what it's like to be a father or nothing like that. Yeah, but I grew up seeing my mom as a single mother, and one time at a certain period of time that she worked two full-time jobs. You can not only to support herself, but also me too. And I think that's really, really awesome and stuff. And I know that when she used to work two full-time jobs, she also wanted time or that she wanted time to have fun also. Yeah, because working two full-time jobs, that's a lot of work. And then also on top of that, she's also raising a kid, which that she has to make sure that she makes time for that too.
All right. So, in short, you're saying I should make sure that she has time for herself and time for fun.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, Chris, unleash.
Okay. I'm going to try to keep it like 5 minutes or less of time in case I go on a too big of a tangent. Because this is actually kind of...
do it.
Shit. I could do it for 2 hours. I've actually done it for 8 hours. This is my job.
Oh,
So
God.
yeah, Sage knows.
Let's go.
I do.
But yeah, so basically, like my job, to give you some quick backstory, is actually, like I said, is educational leadership. I mentor like a lot of students that are both city kids, immigrants, international students, everything. One of my students, just give you like some ego trip real quick, actually is on Forbes magazine for the amount of shit that he did. He came from a country in Uganda where basically like his entire like village was slaughtered. And it's pretty crazy. Yeah, he's actually running for city council right now. So like my big thing, like kind of start off with like a lot of kids and people in general.
Give it to him.
I call them kids and whatnot, but they're older even. In college, is their time management skills are pretty bad. I mean, I was there. We've all been there. We're like, yeah, I should do homework, but like gaming or going out with friends or drinking, yeah, it sounds funner, right? But the big thing I think that you're going to run into right now with your wife is you said she's a doctor, right? So she kind of has like a set schedule. She, before at least COVID, right, was working probably a lot, I'd assume. And so she had like a career path and everything. I've never asked you, do you have a career right now?
No, I'm the stay-at-home parent.
Okay.
I used to have an entertainment company. I feel compelled to say that because of my self-worth. Continue.
Okay. No, and like I think a big thing with relationships, for everyone is obviously finance is a big part of life, right? Because it runs, what we can do, especially if you have a family. I mean, that's your diapers, that's your food for your kids. I mean, even giving childbirth is really expensive, right? Yeah, I'm sure you know more than anyone. And so I think for her, coming from her aspect and her perspective, which perspective is key for everyone, whether it's true or not, in reality, it's her perspective, is she's probably paying the bills, right? And she's the main finances. So one big thing you have to keep in mind is that when she's asking you to maybe like step up and either get a job or like do something else more in her mind productive, not saying that what you're doing right now isn't, but probably in her mind is more productive, right? Is because she's seeing it as, well, if I'm paying for everything, even if Valen, my husband, is taking care of the kids and doing all this, which is in my mind equivalent, if not sometimes harder than a real job, right? I mean, again, kids. She sees it as she's the financial backbone of the entire family. And so she's like, well, if he has time to do this stuff, right, why can't he go and get like a side job or a part-time job or a stay-at-home job, Because she's like, then we could do more things, right? One of my buddies recently reached out to me and he was talking about his girlfriend who has a kid that's like 5 years old and they can't afford daycare, right? So she stays at home. But my buddy Aaron's like, hey, because he makes good money as a machinist, was like, hey, why don't you go to school? It's something you could do at home. It's something that can be productive instead of just taking care of your kid. You can multitask and whatnot. And so they kind of got into a little argument over it. But I talked her into like, hey, this might be something for your future as a couple, because the more money you have later, the more options you're going to have in life to do things, whether it's vacations or, get a nicer house or whatever. So your wife might be coming from a perspective of, if he has time to spend 2 hours in this hobby, right, as she calls it, because she doesn't see it as money, she doesn't see it as productive in that sense, it's just a stress relief for you or a fun thing for you, then why can't or why shouldn't he be doing something else? So I think the big thing that you decide on is this something that you're doing as a hobby, or is this something that you're investing right now into in the future, right? Because obviously a lot of YouTubers and almost any company that's a self-made company, they start off as a hobby of interest and they eventually develop into, full-time or part-time finance. So, Ninja, for example, was someone that is a small-time gamer years and years ago before Twitch was big, was really popular over time, right? And turned from a hobby into making a shit ton of money. Same with, I'd say, like Rogers Base. I'm sure he makes money off that shit, right? But it was a hobby. I mean, he only had, 2,000-3,000 people viewing him, like overall, probably years ago. But he's made money off it because he invested time into it, right? And so it comes down to, is she willing, as your partner, allowing you to invest time into this to make it more than a hobby? And that's something that you both have to decide on, is what do you want the end goal of this, YouTube channel to be? Is it going to stay just a hobby, or is this could be a future thing for you to make money off of?
And here's like, we've actually had that conversation, and she knows like I'm definitely trying to build something. Like,
Yep.
We put I don't want to like put like numbers out, but we put money into the rig I'm using so that I can like
Right.
stream and game and stuff. Like, before we ever put money into it, like I was like, if I'm doing this, the idea is that I want to make something out of this. It may not happen overnight because people don't fucking like me.
All right.
But you know what? But I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna be who I am. And the trick to YouTube is just to do it, You know what
Yep.
I mean? Like that is the God's honest trick to YouTube. Eventually, somebody will see you and it'll click. You're nobody's. If anything, these prove, as Chris has said, we all go through the same thing. So something's gonna click on a level with somebody, and we're not so fucking special that it's not gonna be like 100,000 other people or what the fuck ever, and so on and so forth. And
Right.
the idea is, you just have to, it's a war of attrition.
Yeah. And to give you the kind of like, I guess, inspiration or hope, being a little bit egotistical on my end for a minute too, because I'm 27, so I'm a bit older. I'm not sure what the rough age is here, but
Oh,
I know
you're
you.
so
I know,
cute.
no, you have to understand. Like, I have to say that
35.
shit at school. I feel you, man. But no, like my thing was for years, like when I first started college again after like a 2-year break, I started when I was 23, and I actually got roped into doing student senate, which sounds really nerdy and boring, I know, but on a real levels, I actually invested, I'd say at first 10 hours a week into it. Eventually 10 hours over a year turned into like legit 60, 70 hours of volunteering, not paid, on top of working 2 full-time jobs. And so I was pulling in
Do not miss
120 hours. Yeah. I kind of stopped doing it, but I'm still doing over 80 hours. But no, the benefit of it was over time I started like getting connections, knowing people, and I right now have it as my own business. I'm making $6,000 on the side as a contractor for Minnesota State, just doing that as a job, basically teaching students, making partner connections with different community colleges, universities, everything for the state capital. And so I turned like my passion of like student senate into a full-time job. And I was actually in IT, graduated with 3 degrees in there, but I switched over to what I was earlier with my psychology degree right now, and then my master's in educational leadership.
Nice.
And so you kind of also have to let time click, like you said, and find what's going to be the purpose, for example, for your YouTube channel. How are you going to focus on it? What's going to be your key takeaway for a lot of these audience? Is it going to be manga, anime, or it could be mental health? I kept telling Trent, I was like, yo, like, I personally don't see a lot of fitness people that talk about manga and anime and use it as an inspirational thing. You can make money off this. And I'm hoping that he takes it seriously, because I've worked with a lot of students that like,
your camera's on.
but I've worked with a lot of students that end up basically making their hobbies into a reality, into a business. And so I definitely think it's one of those things where if you invest enough time into it, it can become something real. Same way that I was mentioning earlier, like that food pantry. I mean, shit, I worked on that for free for a year straight, trying to find money from people, donors, all this stuff. And I ended up talking to one guy that I used to know years ago that was basically in charge of like the main churches in Minnesota. And he also has a nonprofit, and they actually were the ones that, because I volunteered so many hours at their church and helped them out, they actually gave us $100,000 per year, not just overall, but per year. Plus, they filled out this entire like big pantry and food shelf for all these colleges across the state. And now I actually went to the state capitol and got approved for over $1 million, and it's only growing from here. And that was just volunteering. And so my thing is, it's started off as a hobby. It started off as what I like. And for a long time, I was like, shit, maybe I should quit it, right? Because you look at it from this is 20 hours I could have invested into working, right? Shit, even if it's a minimum wage job, it's still, $200-300 that week you could have made instead, right? But it's kind of like anything in life, you have to invest into yourself and into your dreams to make something out of it. I mean, shit, that's literally like the whole point of One Piece, right? Is he'll laugh at Luffy all the time, but look where he's at now.
That's true.
And so for your wife, I think sitting down and saying, hey, I've decided, I mean, sure you've done this already, but I've decided that I want this to be a financial backbone to our family as well. Right now, I know it's not going to be, it might not be for 2 years, but can we work on a set schedule where I can have 2 hours a week or 2 hours a day or whatever the case may be to do this and make this my pride and joy? And even like talking to people like, hey, maybe build a website for your, YouTube channel, something that I don't see a lot of people have. Just marketing, stuff like that, kind of investing into it. And shit, even if you have to take a side job yourself, working from home or, repairing cars or whatever the case may be, to make $200-300 to invest back into your hobby, into your current project, right? And getting a better rig or getting, marketing out there. It's something to at least try, because do you really want to grow old and be like 60 years old and make shit? I didn't try, at least. I didn't try to at least enjoy my life. Because I feel that's the biggest regret a lot of people have, is they see it as pure finances and they back away from like the unknown of what could have been. And then later in life, they're like, shit, you meet like Jeff Bezos and all these people that did the opposite, that they invested into the future. They came from nothing sometimes, and look at where they're at now. So I think just compromise is what everyone else is saying. I agree with, but saying like a project plan almost of here's how we're gonna do it.
That all
it's-
right. I've been
yeah.
really trying to find a succinct way to put this rant onto paper because I'm not writing it the fuck all out.
Yeah,
So I like that.
Just
I like
just
that.
listen to this
Project
part of the
plan.
portion of the stream.
right. Yeah, no, and I just think putting into a project plan and saying here's how we're gonna do it over the next year or 2 years. And if she says, you know, I'm still iffy about it, just say, hey, give me 2 years or give me a year or whatever she agrees with you on. And if it doesn't work after that, then we'll switch it up. Then I'll go get a job or, you know, whatever the case may be. But at least letting
Also,
her know.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
All right.
I'm saying also you can look into selling stuff off of Amazon or eBay for like a part time.
Exactly. And there's jobs like work at home. I mean, shit, there's like Comcast. Fuck, they're paying like $25, $30 an hour right now just work from home.
Yeah.
For like, you know, basic support shit.
So
Just something that you can make money. Yeah.
Thank
So
you,
I think
Max.
I just think it's like I said, perspective. That's the one thing I've learned in any relationship or anything in general is even if you don't think it's true, as long as you can understand where the other person's coming from, that's all that matters.
All right. And through the course of listening to you and answering some of the things, I have been trying not to like defend anything. You know what I mean? I don't know if I've done a good job of that, but I've been trying to like let the opinions be the opinions without me interjecting and saying things.
Yeah.
But as you were talking, I was like, we actually do have it. After she basically goes to bed at like 9 with the kids because you know she like wakes up early. And that's kind of the thing. And I never sleep. So, for better or for worse, it's the truth. And so we agreed that like after 9 o'clock I can do whatever I want, and that's the compromise. But I feel bad because I'm always so fucking tired and I don't want to prioritize something over sleep if I can get it, and sometimes it's just an excuse and there's all this other whole bullshit. But the truth is we have talked and she has given me time and time again, and I'm probably just being a fuck shit about it. Like when you're absolutely right that having kids is hard because you never get to do anything you want to do. So when it's time to think about you think about yourself so fucking hard that you may, and this is probably why a lot of relationships go to shit, that you may realize you're not treating your partner the best.
Yep. And I think that's a huge thing is, you know, coming from relationships too, as well, both, you know, from like opposite sex to like, you know, friends, family, stuff like that. I think treatment is the biggest thing that like you'd look at in terms of, am I treating the other person with at least respect? Because the best way is I actually had my dad explain to me the other week with me and my girlfriend is he was saying is even if, you know, he's working, let's say 80 hours or 90 hours, because he works a shit ton, and his wife, which is my stepmom, is one of like the directors for a medical field, and she works like 100 plus. He's like, is it fair for him to come home and cook for her or clean the house or do whatever? He's like, yeah, as long as he has time in terms of, it doesn't have to be, oh, we agree to, I'm doing this chore this week and you're doing that this week. It's doing whatever you can with whatever energy and whatever time you have. I think it's fair. It's also talking to your partner and saying, what is fair? What does she think is fair to her? And just tell her is you want the most blunt, honest opinion of, is this currently a fair relationship? Because like you said, that could be, not to scare you, a relationship breaker. She might say like, you know, let's say 3 years pass and you didn't make it anywhere. You know, is that a fair thing for her to have to take that backbone of the relationship for the finances upon herself? Because I'm sure it's hard work, you know, doing what she does. I'm not a doctor, but I can imagine it's stressful and hard, right? And so looking at from a perspective of what do you guys both agree on that's fair? Because if she says her being the only financial support in the family isn't fair, it's going to harbor at her and it's going to kind of build up over time, and eventually it's going to make her snap. I mean, so that's something you have to look at too with her is, what does she think is a compromise that's equal, that you also agree with? Because I know this is what you want to do, but you also love your family and you also obviously love everything else, like your kids and, you know, your life and whatnot. And it just comes down to what's more important to you as well, because honestly, our own futures should be number one. But I don't have kids, but I can imagine your kids' futures are even above that. And so that's kind of that hard balance of like, you know, like one thing I talked to my girlfriend about when we first started dating, or before we started dating, was I will never not do what's right for me, in terms of if there's ever a day where I have to make a hard decision, like moving across the country for a better job or opportunity, or doing something else that I love doing, and it affects her in a negative way, I said I'd still do it because I think my own, life is priority. Same way that I think that she should also do it. And the hard part is we're in like a girlfriend-boyfriend relationship where you're married, you have kids. And so you can't really obviously say, hey, like, I'm going to prioritize myself anymore. So I think that's going to be the hardest thing, is finding that compromise between what she will allow you to do. And I shouldn't say allow, but what she thinks is equivalent for you to be able to do while doing this hobby. Because if she says you have to get a part-time job while still doing that, then maybe that's your, equal will agreement versus just doing the hobby by itself. And, honestly,
like I said, we've talked about that. And once she gets working again, the money isn't the issue.
Okay.
Part of the reason I do this is because the 3 years of like all this, I've really lost my sense of self. I did all the things you were talking about. I built relationships. I built connections. My name was respected. And then I moved away so she can go. So I could be with her and go to the school that she went to. I sold my company that I made, the entertainment company, and we put it all into her being a doctor. You know what I mean? That was the goal, because that's the greater good. Is really the honest answer. Like, she's such an amazing person with like such healing energy as an individual, let alone like the fact that she's educated to do so. So that's what we focused on for years. And like I was working like 12-hour days. Like we were really, and I guess part of it to like fill in the story is that I feel like I've lost myself, and part of who I am and getting back to the person I want to be is through this. Like I love having these conversations. I miss talking to adults. Like,
I don't know. Have you ever had talk with a kid? It's kind of deep.
Well, that's the thing. Okanashin can't talk.
Yeah.
I had one kid ask me the other day, is like, why do we work if we gotta go work the next day and don't get nothing from it? I was like, oh shit.
Like, all right, listen here, Nietzsche. You need to stop because you're sounding real good right now.
Yeah, and to kind of touch on that, I guess like a big thing that I can agree with, like again, going back to that student senate thing, is I wasn't making money off of it, and I had to pay the bills and everything. And at the time I was living with my sister because we're 3 years apart, and she was going to school, I was going to school. And so I think the big thing was for me is, I kind of asked her, I was like, is this something that you're willing to let me do? Because in reality, she knows I could have worked way more hours and got a way better job, because I was working at Best Buy corporate, and I could have made a shit ton more money. We've had, it easier, if you want to call it that, in life. But I love doing it, and it made me feel confident. I would argue if I didn't do it then, I wouldn't have been where I'm at now. And I even look at older photos where I was still somewhat confident, but I was nowhere near as confident as I am now. And, to an extent cocky, I'd argue. And so it's one of those things where I can feel you on. You almost have to do it for your own, not only mental mindset, but also kind of like that confidence, that, depression avoidance, all that stuff, even like the sleep aspect. My dad's a sleep doctor. And, side note is I'd also get tested for like a sleep test. Usually those are pretty cheap if you have a good insurance or decent insurance. But no, I mean, it could be something too where as a father that's a stay-at-home dad, I can imagine it's kind of hard because you are not allowed to kind of do things on your own time. I mean, it's set scheduled on her time and the kid's time. So it's kind of like you're not your own person.
Part of it is the stigma that comes with being like a stay-at-home dad and stuff. Like,
right.
It is not quite. It's just not viewed as like a masculine thing. Even though I promise you, whoever you feel like is the most masculine dude will be broken by a fucking an autistic meltdown from a 3-year-old. I fucking promise you.
Yeah, I can imagine. And so I guess
I've seen it before.
Not shit. But no, I guess the biggest thing to tell her is just kind of what you just told us, which is I think even beyond the money and beyond everything else is this is your identity. I mean, this is what makes you feel the most like you and the most improved self and the most fulfilled self of yourself, if that makes sense. As in, you have to do this to feel, self-worth and feel alive, which is a huge part of going anywhere in life. I mean, if you feel like shit every day, you could be the smartest fucking person, but if you don't feel good about yourself, guess what? Shit ain't gonna happen in life for you. And I always tell that people all the time is you could be 90% of the way there in terms of you have the looks, you have the charm, you have the brains, you have the money. But if you don't put that last 10% of confidence and actually doing the work,
I had
you're not
none
going to
of
make it
that,
anywhere.
but I had 90% confidence, 10%
Hey,
flavors.
it works. It
All
works,
right.
man. It works. But no, I just truly think that if you explain to her on that aspect too, as in this is yourself, this is what you need to do to feel alive, to feel worthwhile, and be open and honest about the whole aspect of the masculinity side of things. Because I can imagine that it's not something fun to be like, oh, I'm a stay-at-home dad, and like that's my resume. See you guys. I can imagine it's not like the most appealing thing. And so, yeah, I think it's just a good connection piece to meet other people, to talk to other people. I know when I had Outer Haven, I'm sure BDV remembers that, is when we had that shit with laws and all them.
Yeah. Now I'm getting
And-
copyrighted.
yeah, you can take it down. But anyways, not like I did that shit as when I first
All
started
right,
college.
whoa. Let me stop you there because this
Yeah.
is way too much about me. But let's all say bye to Mads. She's being so dope this entire conversation. She's got to run. We all appreciate you and wish you nothing but the best in everything.
Have fun.
Maddie John.
Hope you have a hope you have a great rest of your day.
All right.
Oh
All
yeah.
right. That
Um,
was so okay. That took a little left turn because of something that happened earlier.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, check your DMs.
But we're gonna move past that. I've written it down, and I thank everybody for their contributions. So we're gonna move on to somebody else and their because we didn't get into anybody else's relationships and sense of self because we've been talking about me like a jackass. So yeah, who would like to talk about their relationships that help inform their sense of self?
Like what do you mean?
Like relationships, not just romantic, but they can be like with friends or whatever, that helped you realize the who you are, that helped you accomplish your sense of self. Like I mentioned my friend who wanted me to be second fiddle all the time and had no desire to let me get my own shine. You know what I mean? And that helped me realize I'm a person who's got to shine, baby. So and that informed a lot of decisions thereafter. So that's what. Oh, go.
Yeah. So I used to have old used have an old roommate, and uh and and so so the thing is that when I used to be that when we used to live at the same place, uh so his wife worked, and then also uh so did I, but uh and he used to have a job, uh, yeah, but then he quit, and then when his wife asked him why that he quit, and he said then he said that he didn't just felt like working anymore. And then hold on. And then like 10 months later, our landlord told us that we had 3 months to move out, but because his daughter was planning on buying the house that we're currently living in, and then and also it was a bad time because because it was during the all kind of crazy that he asked that for us, and he didn't give us like, instead of giving us like 2 or 3 months, that he could have given us like 6 months, like at least, you know. But so so we ended up moving into another apartment, and then the thing is that so times I would be a couple days late with rent and stuff, and then like one thing that's crazy is that he would always say, hey, my wife is really stressed with bills and stuff, and since you're late sometimes with rent, it it really puts a strain on her. And then the thing is that the only thing that he did was be a stay-at-home dad, and then whenever I said, oh, I'm gonna get the money to pay another pay rent, he would kind of look down on me and like uh and like hey, well uh hur, uh hurry up and pay. And then like sometimes that I would get off work uh really stressed, because sometimes that the supervisors that I would work, sometimes the supervisors would like make me mad and stuff, because they would rush me on stuff that I'm not able to have control of, and then finally that I had enough of it. So one day when the three of us were sitting down, he that he made something else. So usually the payments would be rent, and then a week after would be utilities. But then then he changed it and said, hey, so on the same week, so I know they pay the utilities like a week after rent, but I'm going to have you pay rent and utilities on the same week. And then I told him, well, I won't be able to do that. And then I asked him, that I won't be able to make enough money not to do that. And he said, well, sometimes you end up either paying utilities like a couple days late, or or instead of paying the full amount, that you only pay for part of it. And then I said, well, now whatever I owed after that, then I would pay the rest of it the following week. And then he said, well, Raul, you need to start taking more responsibility of your finances. And then that struck a chord on me. So I'm like, so what about you? And he's like, what about me? I'm like, well, so you see that I'm working and your wife's working, but you're not working. And he said, well, the thing I need to do is I need to watch my kid. And then I told him, well, so my mom raised 4 kids, but so you're saying you're not able to raise 1 kid with work? And I said, that doesn't make sense. And then to try to make the story shorter, that I was trying to tell him that he should get a job, and his response was to threaten to kick my ass. So yeah.
All right.
And then
let me introduce Vulture right quick, as he came in while you were just talking.
For sure.
All right. Thank
What is up?
very much. I would
Who's
like
valuable?
to
Who's this
introduce
Vulture
the
guy?
feathered fiend himself, the carrion commander of the Vagabond Pirates.
Wow, he gets all this accolades, and I got AVD.
Yeah. All right. Maybe if you get back to some Pokemon games with your brother, maybe you earn your own accolades. All right.
Now my attention's being held hostage so I can get accolades. Wow.
That's right.
It's the way of the world, BDV. I won't tell you.
It's exactly how Kaido runs his crew. It's how Blackbeard runs his crew. All right. Don't get mad at me just because I'm out here pirate kinging it up. Okay. It's how Rocks ran the crew. I don't want to hear it.
Basically,
Garp
don't
would
hate
do
the
it.
player, hate the game.
Let me stop.
I wouldn't do it this way.
Yeah. Let me ask you, Vulture.
Yes.
How do you define I've been defining sense of self as the intrinsic part of you that you understand that other people can't, like the little piece of you that only you know the truth about. You know what I mean? Like your sense of self that allows you to be the person that you are outwardly. You know what I mean? That gives you whatever chutzpah, whatever, moxie, whatever it is, that's what it gives you.
I would say the sense of self is kind of a 2-part thing, because a lot of people desperately try to hang on to how they think they are at the moment, and either don't recognize that that's going to change, like not could change, not there's a good chance it will change. It's like it's going to change, because unless you're like locked up in a cave, you're going to meet people and be in situations that's going to flip your worldview either 180 degrees or just a little bit, or just skew it ever so slightly, but it's going to change once you learn more about the world. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but understand who you are at the moment, how you deal with adversity, and or don't deal with adversity. And just understanding your strengths and weaknesses. So just understanding everything about yourself. Like if you know that you're in a situation, you're going to be in a situation for a long ass time that might break you, you know what I'm saying? How long should you stay in the situation? How long should you, you know what I'm saying? Or how fast should you get out before who you are fundamentally changes, and if that's a bad thing or not. So it's just being comfortable enough to know that that who you are is a fluid state, and you should be okay with that.
All right, you just reminded me of some Chinese philosophy. I'm gonna spit right quick. I want to say it's like Lao Shi or something like that. He said you can grow up with someone, you can grow old with someone, and never really know them, you know, in all of that time. But you can hold somebody over a pit of fire and learn who they are in a second.
Mm-hmm. Adversity changes a lot about people. Also, there's a small echo in the background. I don't know if that's just me or what, but I hear the stream myself talking. But I don't know if anyone else hears it. But yeah, it was good. It was a good little proper.
I don't hear it.
Cool. I'm just going insane. Nice.
Chat, if you hear it. If you hear the echo, let me know. But maybe it's because you're in the chat and didn't in the stream and didn't turn it off. Or...
No, on my phone, and the stream isn't going.
Oh, so. All right. Well.
Nope, that's a lie. That's a whole lie. It was going.
I knew it.
I
fucking knew it. How did I know? Ask me how I know, ladies and gentlemen.
You know I don't be shit sometimes.
All right.
Couldn't happen to hype though. I say that much.
That's right.
I have no accolades.
He don't need no accolades. All right. He don't need no accolades. What accolades?
Also,
excuse me, sir. I'll talk for myself. I think I do.
He said, I think I do. I was like, all right, fuck.
I would like to quickly say what's up to Phoenix. I ain't seen the boy in a minute. It was cracking.
Good.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. But yeah, so sorry about being late. This what's the topics we've been covering so far?
The topic is the sense of self and how it's
okay.
How you as a person have developed. We're using personal anecdotes. You can go back and watch for all the other stuff. But I'll ask you some of the other questions if other people don't mind giving him a chance to take the floor for a little bit. Any objections?
Nope.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So we've already heard your definition. So can you think of something that helped you define the person? I'll say this again because it's my favorite already. It's one of my favorite stories. It's my favorite compliment I've ever gotten. I was in school and people were talking about what they're going to get from the parents, and somebody asked me, "Oh, what did your parents get you?" I was like, I don't want to have those. And this woman, bold faced, looked me dead in the face and said, "Oh, I just assumed you had good family." I was riding high for months.
Oh, nice. They said, "I see the cut of your jib, and I'm all about that."
It made me feel good.
Like it.
And but yeah, do you have a moment that really helped solidify that the person you became is the right direction you want to be? I guess it's a better way to word it. And Chris, you're answering this next. We're taking turns between the two of you because I realized
that's all good, man.
I didn't give you the chance to do this either.
No, he's got the floor. It's all good.
All right. Also, just a heads up while I had the time, just because I only have about an hour left. It's almost 5 for me. I gotta go at 6. I'm gonna make dinner for the family, and then I got another stream to jump into at 7. So, yeah.
Right.
What you cooking?
I don't know. I'll probably just go make spaghetti for the kids. Okana, she loves that shit.
Spaghetti. So I just making sure I understand. We're giving a personal anecdote about a moment in your life that kind of helped define you, or kind of.
In this case, it would be helped solidify that the person you're becoming is the person is like the is the right path.
Oh, okay. Well, I would have to say it's one of the, I guess you could say earlier moments in my adulthood, around 17, 18, when I hopped into basic training, trying to be shit. Every now and then I like to try to do that. And that was one of those moments. So I signed up for the military, did all the good stuff, went into basic training, and of course, I always, you know, in my mind, respected how hard it could be. You know, I understand that, you know, back in the day when motherfuckers was really out here stabbing each other with bayonets, it was probably harder. But the one I went into was plenty tough mentally, and so it was so tough that we got took into like a room, and these dudes, I think the instructors, I forgot what the fuck they were instructing, but I think they were trying to help us cope with stress, and they had us like really sit back and think about. I think it was like 3-4 weeks in at this point, and they was asking us. No, it was 2 weeks in. It was specifically 2 weeks in, because they asked us, "Has anyone like taken a shit this whole time?" And everyone legit sat there and thought about it. And there was like at least like 5-6 people that like realized they ain't used the bathroom for like 2 weeks because of the stress, and everyone's trying to just keep it together because they ain't never been through anything like this before. And I was definitely one of those people. And I internally started to freak out a little bit. I was like, my shit gonna rupture? I don't know how the fuck the body works when you don't shit for 2 weeks. So I had that on my mind going out through the rest of the thing, like trying not to think about it, like trying to not over exaggerate, because I do that a lot. And I had a good ass friend in there that was in there like connecting with me and shit on stuff I like. There was a lot of people where it was like, oh, they kind of connect with me a quarter of a way because of this one thing, or like half a way. But me and this dude was vibing. I was like, finally, somebody I can talk to about like everything without seeming weird and shit. So I'm fucking I want to say 3-4 weeks in. For some reason, once a year, like clockwork, I get really sick. And of course, it would have to happen while I'm in basic training. And since I'm fucking extra stretched out, I ain't shit yet. All that's just piling up on me. And I was legit about to like, say fuck it and give up. But then old dude came over to me, and I think I was in like the bathroom or something. I was legit just laid up on one of like the benches in the shower. I was like, man, fuck this. I'm about to go home. I can't breathe. My eye hurt. I'm pretty sure I still ain't shit yet. I'm probably gonna die soon. So dude came over to me and basically calmed me the fuck down and asked me if I hit like what do you say? I think he said, if you like hit one of the toughest walls and you run away from it, every other wall in your life is just going to get shorter and shorter, and you're going to keep running away from those walls. So go ahead and hop over this wall, because they're only going to get higher from this point. And if you can prove you can hop over the highest wall in your life at that moment, you'll be able to be successful. And for as long as I can remember, I always kind of in the back of my head thought I was going to be like an average ass person with no real discernible skills. I wasn't going to really do anything like of importance. And that kind of like stuck with me like throughout mainly my whole, well, not my whole life, because I kind of got rid of that, because I'm gonna keep trying to be shit, even though, you know, I keep saying, you know, I ain't shit. I try to use it as a joke, but back then I actually really believed it. So he helped me get rid of that mentality of I'm really just going to be a normal ass person and not do anything worth note. And he helped me realize that shit's going to happen, is how you deal with it. And that's how I kind of try to live my life now. Like if some shit happened to me, instead of like kind of giving up and throwing in the towel, I try to realize that this is just like bad things happen in threes. This is the third and final boss. Let me go ahead and cross that threshold and try to be shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's mainly where I get my like inner strength from. And the fucked up thing about it is the dude who came over and helped me when I was like at my lowest point, I would say, died right when we got to tech school, which is right after basic training, sadly. And he's one of my best friends. It's hilarious and to me, because it's like one of my greatest role models of like determination. Was like one of the biggest fucking drug addicts of all time. When I tell you he tried every drug at least twice, but he was just still so enlightened in my mind, and like had so much perseverance that I was like, it doesn't even matter how other people see you, because a lot of people could see that and be like, this motherfucker, he was a fucking junkie. Why are you taking advice from him? but this dude fucking helped, like, you know what I'm saying, direct the course of my life to where I'm trying to be like a better person. And if I would have judged him for how wild his life was and all the shit he did, I would never had that moment. I probably would have gave up. And it was like a twofold lesson. Like, motherfuckers can do shit and they could be whatever to however many people negatively, but it's up to you to kind of find that hidden gem quality, find the goodness in whoever the fuck you're talking to, because they could help you out at any moment and you would never know it because you kind of close yourself off to possibilities. So that determination, fucking Naruto style will of fire type shit, that shit is real. And only you can push yourself to that point. Talk to these niggas, BDV. So yeah, that's my little spiel about that.
That's pretty crazy, man. I feel like that's, just to jump on that real quick, I feel that guy clearly had a lot of life experience, which I feel like not a lot of people understand the value of, like, fucking up and having failures in life. Is that's where you live and learn type of shit. I feel like that guy probably had
only value.
Yeah, right. That guy had like endless wisdom, I'm sure, because of the shit that he's gone through, and you know, whatever may happen to him, you know, in terms of his drug use and whatnot, he still made it that far. I mean, that's pretty crazy. And whether people realize or not, he's made an impact in you. And you know, even if there's one or two people listening to the stream that get an impact from that story, I mean, that's people that he's, you know, impacted again and again and again. So no, that's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah, man, that shit was definitely a huge sticking point in my life. I was extremely upset when I was woken up at like 2 a.m. and they told me he died and shit. They wouldn't tell me why, didn't tell me how, just that motherfucker gone. So I even, he was telling me how he was going to get married when he got out of basic training in tech school. He was going to fucking move to, I forgot what he was going to move to. I want to say Japan, because he went to Japan before. And then he was going to get this dope ass tattoo for him and his wife, like 2 koi fish swimming in a circle, and he was gonna fucking deck almost every other day. He would tell me like the new shit. Cat, I'm in the middle of the story. Shut up. So he was telling me how he was gonna like modify it and edit it and all that shit, and he never got a chance to do that. So I ended up getting the tattoo for him and shit, and that's my only tattoo to this day. And I'm gonna try to get some more, but I just felt like that was really important. Like, the shit he gave me, I could never repay, because it helped me, you know what I'm saying, at least let me accomplish something in my life to make me, you know, feel good about myself and give me some value in my mind. So that's the least I can do for him. So that's just my story. Is Valen still here?
No, I ran away.
That was great.
Oh, I'll be like that.
I'll do this.
Ooh. Got the Guido fucking comb back. I like it.
Nope, cut it off.
Oh, wait.
Jack.
It's Nick Valen. I don't like you right now.
I don't like it either,
like
but
you at
Beth
all.
did it. So, like, what are you going to do?
In like the middle of the night, or are you aware?
No, I started it off. I basically was like, fuck it, we doing some shit?
I just bigged it.
Wow.
That's
She's
awesome.
always down for all your bullshit.
Yeah, she is super dope. Don't get me wrong. I've been asking her to help me with it for like 2 months, but no, that's a lie. I've been thinking about it for 2 months. I've been asking for like 2 weeks.
Glad you realize there's a huge difference between think.
I do fuck that up sometimes, and I think a lot of people do.
Hilarious.
But yeah. But all right. Let's see what else. Yeah, what relationships have helped form your sense of self? For me, it was my best friend who wouldn't let me shine, and after I started college, just stopped hanging out with me. And romantically, we went into something else. But what I'm gonna say is, I asked my ex-girlfriend what I could do to help her achieve her dreams. And she was like, well, why don't, and I was like, because I don't really have dreams. Like, that's like, my ambition was, I still hadn't figured out, I had it, but I didn't know what it was. You know what I mean? I didn't know that I just wanted to help people. Like, it's really what it comes down to. But,
good ass dream, man.
And
Also, did you want all that that HUD shit on your screen? Like you gotta.
I don't know how to get it off. I don't want to be judged. Okay.
Okay, I thought you tried something new. Just making sure you good.
I am. It's a new camera. It's a new camera. Look at it. Really makes my eyes pop.
Hey man, I'm getting a little moist over here. You can calm down. Calm it down, sir. That's a sexy face. Oh God. Weak.
Oh man, I'm so used to running my fingers through my hair though that I still do it. I'm not gonna lie.
Letting it blow in the wind.
All right. Where was I? Oh, and and after like we had a real talk, and she was like, "Well, I don't really know you. Tell me things about you." And then and I was like, "All right, that's fair. If we're gonna like the idea of us going into business is whatever, then you deserve to know some things." So I gave her some tip of the iceberg business, and then she dumped me. She was like, "No, you too broken for me," and
God damn.
And that stuck with me for a while. Yes, it did. And that helped inform the person that I was that maybe I should not talk to people. And then it took somebody else, i.e. my wife, to help teach me that no, I should talk to people. I should just like learn to accept my honesty, my truth, and not their response to it. And that was that.
Hell yeah. Good ass lesson. Beth up here dropping jewels. Like
she's a dope ass lady. Now, Chris, did you get to answer that question?
Not yet. So I guess I kind of talked about it earlier with the whole.
All right, jump in before Vulture, and then Vulture can answer.
Okay. Just to kind of jump in. Basically, like I talked about before, is I think two big ones that stand out to me the most off the top of my head for like relationships were one of my old bosses during Best Buy. You guys heard echo?
Yeah, I heard echo.
Oh, shit.
Anyways, now back in the Best Buy days when I was working in the store when I was like 15 years old, there's a guy named Custis Green, and he was one of the nicest, interesting guys. In a weird way, he reminds me of you, Valen, just kind of like that outgoing, positive energy role model type person. And it's kind of cool because the cool thing with him is you normally think of bosses as like someone that's gonna like, be very strict and hard on your ass and make you do shit you don't want to do, right? You're not really gonna get experience like retail. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and I was kind of worried because this was like my first official job, and so I was like, oh shit, like I'm probably gonna get yelled at and shit. But now, like he was very, very kind. Like I remember when 3D TVs were coming out, he was the guy that the company would get mad at him all the fucking time because he'd go and open products and shit just to show customers, like the young kids that come in there like 3 or 5 years old. He'd give them the 3D glasses. They're like worth $100, and like, nah, fuck it, put it on my tab and like let me show you guys a movie and watch. Like have them watch Finding Nemo and shit. And it's kind of opened my eyes to be less, I'd say, like pessimistic and narcissistic, and kind of like realize like the world's short, life's short. It's best to kind of live in the moment and have fun, and people will flock around you with positive energy if you first are the person to give everyone else positive energy. And that there might be people come inside the store that had a really shitty day and they're just shitty people in that moment, but overall they could be like kind and normal people. But you just have to show them that positive energy and kind of show that light through the darkness type metaphor. And no, he was great. I mean, he mentored me, and at the time I didn't have a dad in my life for like 4 or 5 years, and so he was kind of like my father figure for a long time. He'd take me out to eat. I met his wife, and he didn't have kids, so he kind of like jokingly called me his like son prodigy type person. It's kind of cool. And so no, he definitely helped raise like that masculine, like professional level in myself. And so I feel like it was huge impact in my life in that aspect, because he was that role model that I wish more people got. And that's what I try to be for a lot of these kids is, that positive, I'm proud of you, I'm here to support you, and even if you fuck up, like I'm here to help clean up the mess. And so I think that's a huge thing that a lot of people need. Second person is similar. His name was Nick Cocker, and this guy was very interesting. Imagine that, if you ever seen that 70s show, that hippie looking guy, imagine kind of a more militaristic hippie type looking dude. Yeah.
No, I'm just like, which hippie from the 70s, bro?
No, from that. Have you seen that 70s show? Yeah, so
Hyde. Okay.
Yeah, he kind of looked like him. A little bit more, I'd say, like professional to a small extent, but he had like that ponytail and shit, right? Rocking that. and he was in the Navy for 23 years as a drill sergeant for the medical team. And so we'd do like tours for the campus for like middle school kids and high school kids at the college campus, and I'd help out. And you can imagine nowadays kids are on their phone even during class. And he'd tell them, yo, like if you're on your phone during class, like I'm actually gonna break your phone. And someone started laughing, and he's like, laugh now. And I remember like 2 or 3 different times this guy grabbed a phone and smashed it on the ground. Because he's like, yeah, like guess what? This is life and this is reality. And if you're not here in the present, in the moment, being an active listener and an active learner, guess what? You're never gonna be. And it sounds like a small life lesson, but imagine if you're going to eat with a girl or a guy, right? And they're on their phone texting and ignoring what you're saying and not really actively listening to you. It's pretty fucking disrespectful. And so he always,
Oh man.
oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah. And
No,
so
I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
no, you're good. But yeah, no. And so basically, he was just really driving that into me because he wanted me to understand that to be able to get the most out of life, not only do you have to invest into it, but you have to actively invest in terms of you have to be that person that's sitting at the table, making conversation, making sure that the other person's heard and feels heard. Because if you ever got into a fight with someone verbally, usually it stems from either you're not listening to them or you feel that they're not listening to you. And so there's something small that like really was driven into me by him, because he kind of made it clear that take care of yourself, take care of your family, then take care of others, but everything else comes after yourself. Because if you don't feel confident in yourself and happy with your own self identity, you're not going to be able to help other people. That's just the facts of life. Because if you feel like shit, how are you going to like show positive energy to other people? And so no, I just think it was a great role model for both of those guys to really push into my values of be there, be present, be helping other people, be active, be that spontaneous, fun, energetic person. Because there's too much shit going on in the world where people don't have that. And growing up without parents, it's one of those things where it's a weird thing of if you don't have that positive energy, you don't know what's like, and it kind of brings you down like a dark rabbit hole. But then if you get that good role model that like shows you that stuff, it helps kind of get you out of that darkness. And so I feel like that's what a lot of people need. And working in nonprofits for many years now, working for about 7-8 years, I've met so many kids that have gone through so much shit worse than the next kid that it's crazy to hear their backstory, and yet they're still positive because they've had that one person, whether it's me or another person, to like actively give them life advice and sit down with them and treat them as a person. I feel like that's the biggest thing that people like misconstrue now is it's not just about being happy and nice, it's treating people respectfully. You don't have to like someone, but like if you treat them with at least human respect, it's a huge impact on them. That's kind of my view on everything.
That's a dope lesson to have, man. That's what's up. All right, Vulture, you're gonna answer this, and then we're gonna start the closings of it because that'll take about an hour in itself.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say this. Remember, life comes at you in every direction. Just be prepared for it.
Yo, this
an hour beforehand.
No matter what, I did it first
guy,
now.
yes, he
No
did.
matter what.
Yes, for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, he
Second fiddle
finally
now.
did it.
That's a different kind of like motivation, just to be out.
Right? My man shows up like an hour early for the job. Like, I'm getting this. And he did. He got it. He showed up.
He got it.
That's a fact. Can't take
What was
Remember,
the,
take my lesson from St. Charles. If you keep following your
Yeah.
dream, you're bound to get something.
Yeah, King Charles and think I'm Zorro, and there's no Bonnie around to save you.
Damn,
Exactly.
that's a mid diff
When
right
I
there.
tell you, that's not even a mid diff. He'd have sneezed hard and killed that man.
I was trying to give him some
But
juice,
he
but
continues to follow his dream, though.
He continues to follow. You know what? I won't argue. That is literally the only thing that he actually does.
It'd be crazy if Oda really put in some kind of life lesson with Charlos and just like a motivational track, and him trying as hard as just to get slaves as hard as he can, like crawling through the dirt.
Part of me thinks that how specific Charlos looks is somebody who looks almost like that was a dick to him when he was younger.
Almost.
Yeah, he put a lot of detail in St. Charles.
What I'm saying, like for somebody who's only been in a couple of times, like none of the other 10, no, not 10, yeah, 10.
They don't get like second shot recalls.
Like they're all like almost. I don't want to say like generic, but almost like for what they are, generic, except for this
Yeah.
son of a bitch who looks like probably someone who picked on Oda.
His nose probably runs and everything.
Right?
But he personifies the dream of One Piece, though. To me, it's One Piece.
He does.
Okay,
Pursue
let's
your dream at all
stop
costs.
this.
He's not wrong. Pursue your dream at all costs. And if he didn't do that, he wouldn't have got punched in the face and then hammer slapped by some other guy.
But he did not learn after the punch.
No, he did not, because some people don't learn.
He didn't let someone else determine his value. He knows what he's worth.
All right, stop. We gotta stop because this is. I hate y'all so much. I knew the second I saw Vulture, I wouldn't be able to keep myself on track.
What was the question? Just the relationship?
A relationship that helped form who you are, whether it was a friend or whether it was a romantic paramour, that helped inform the person that you have became.
Well, what's up?
Oh no, I just wanted to say some upcoming good news, and also say how that situation helped me find my self-worth. But you can finish what you gotta say.
Tight. So, I a little bit on the spot and kind of feeling dickish for this because I think there was at least 2 examples of motherfuckers not having parents, and my example is going to be a parent. I'm not trying to be a dick, but I feel like a very.
This man's a dick already.
I know. I feel it in my soul. I just got to go. One of the main, I guess, driving forces I have for kind of how I approach things and the ferocity in which I don't accept, like, the first version of whatever I do. Like, I'm always trying to, like, critique shit, trying to get it in, and not really appreciating how it looks the first time. Like, the not perfectionism, but almost like you could do better type of shit. Came from my mom, and it wasn't in a good way. Like, it wasn't like she was sitting there with the Saturday morning cartoon voice telling me I can do it. It was more like everything I did was kind of looked at like, that's all you did? And then kind of like, in my mind, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to try to turn this towards I don't feel shitty about this 85 I got on my test, and how she looking at me like I could have got 100. To me, I don't know if she was like trying to be like, you can do better, but it didn't really help my confidence at the time. And I always kind of felt like until I gave myself like self-worth and things I did, I always felt like everything I was doing was just shitty and not worth shit. So I kind of, it's like a halfway what the fuck, that her attitude towards shit I did helped me not settle for things most of the time. And it kind of helped me develop an optimistic attitude about things instead of settling, which is bad. You shouldn't settle for things if you can, in fact, do better. But you should also learn the balance that it takes to understand sometimes you can only do so much. And juggling my mental state that I always had, that I'm disappointing my mom, and using that as motivation to make my to do as best I can with things instead of half-assing it or whatever. Like, help me not be lazy, because I have a very, very like it's a really strong magnetic pull to not do shit all day long. It's sometimes I fight it really well, and other times it's just like, nah, baby, I got you. just don't do a goddamn thing right now. So it's the little voice in my head, my mom looking at me like, nigga, you really ain't shit, huh? And the pull of the not wanting to do shit is always in a constant battle. So it can be looked at as a bad thing if you choose to do it. I could have let that seep into my psyche that I ain't shit, but I just decided to take my feelings and emotions that I always seem to have into positive reinforcement. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you did shit you woke up at like 5 and you was working till 12. Yes, you could do more, but would that be beneficial to you? Or would it be the law of diminishing returns? Sometimes you got to rest, but not all the time. So having that balance or having someone give you that balance is kind of what a parent's job is. How well they do it will always, it will be on them and how they deal with their life and everything's going around them. So you're not always going to get the perfect parental situation. Sometimes you're going to get one of the shittiest situations and you're not going to get anything out of it. And sometimes, you know what I'm saying, you'll be given shit, but you can make diamonds out of it if you're that fucking delusional. Because sometimes being delusional can help you out. Like, oh, yeah, my mom's fucking slapped me upside the head and shit, but, what could I have done to stop that? Sometimes you can't do nothing, but just that thought will, kind of help you in that situation. Like, okay, I can do this. At least you got a skill out of it. You know what I mean? Like, and sometimes people don't determine, skill like that. Like being able to take parental abuse is a very valuable skill because people in general in life are going to try to abuse you. And if you came out the womb throwing MMA hands, you'll be able to take a lot of shit from people that throw a lot less heat at you. So anything that you gain in life is a plus sometimes. And if you just choose to look at it that way, it can help you out in life. A lot of other people are, I don't want to say weaker, but just don't have that mind state yet. And I'm here to tell you that any situation, no matter how fucking shitty it may seem, just realize, you know what I'm saying? Like I've been learning from a lot of people that it could be worse and you could have really shitty resolve and not be able to flip with the punches. And I wasn't able to do that for a while. And the only reason I was able to do it is because I've seen other people being through worse. And that kind of, in a weird way, gave me comfort. Like, damn, this nigga ain't got no feet, but he out here making shit happen. So take your own, troubles with a grain of salt and learn from them and don't use it as a crutch because that's not going to help anybody, especially you. So, yeah, my relationship with my mom and her bittersweet relationship with me and my determination in life. So that's it for me.
That's beautiful. And since you know me better than everybody, you love your mom.
Mommy.
I mostly fear my mom more than anything else.
I respect that. Respect.
I fear her more than I don't know. If God told me to choose between me and her and him, I'm like, bruh, y'all on a different spectrum.
He's gonna hit him with that Bronx tale. Be like, listen, you may be bigger than her up there, but she's bigger than you down here. Okay, like you gotta.
Like, how are you gonna step in to save me? And don't say you work in mysterious ways. I need answers.
Don't say when that slipper comes off. I need you to show up.
That chancla helps me.
When that belt comes off, I need you to be here.
I think the funny thing is, Valen heard the fear of my voice, and my mom came on my stream. He was like,
dude,
"Yeah, this is
I
funny."
I was on that shit like a shark.
He was blood in the water, and he went for it. He was like, "Oh, BDB, fear, got fear." I hear fear in BDB's voice.
It's literally a situation that there's no comeuppance for me in. Like, what are you gonna do? Tell my mama?
Yeah, man. Most of the time, the first time you get hit in your life is gonna be your mom or your dad. So it makes sense. And the first time you got hands from anybody.
Right. And you know who was there to stop it? Jesus. Let me stop.
Rain,
Oh,
rain.
oh, I'm sorry. I knew it.
Got a cramp.
No, I for some reason anyway. Sorry, Jesus. But all right, we're gonna start closing now. Raul, I would like you to start, and the topic for our closing is: who do you see yourself as when you are completely self-actualized? The person that you dream of becoming. And yeah, and if you'd like, for me personally, if anybody could give me advice to facilitate that, I'm all fucking ears. But feel free to do that in DMs afterwards. But for now, let's just get the statements or whatever. So Raul, who is the person you see yourself becoming?
Well, so one thing is that one person uh that I've seen videos for, like, about their background, is Arnold Schwarzenegger, and 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 so the thing is that I saw videos of him, and uh then he talked about his life before he was famous, and and he had a hard life and stuff from his his home country, and when and when uh and when he said he wanted to be a bodybuilder, like a lot of people, they were like, you want to be a bodybuilder? That's a crazy dream for you to have. But the thing is that he didn't let that get him down. So he worked on his body to make himself get stronger and stronger. Then years later, now he's a famous uh famous super strong bodybuilder, that when people see him, that they see the greatness that he shows, and and also that this connects to with me right now, yeah, because I told you the situation with me and my roommate, and and then one thing that I thought is, like, you know what? So after he threatened to kick my ass, then my thought was, you know what? I'm not gonna live here. So I don't want to live somewhere where someone's always judging me, or something that I'm not able to uh, control, and that have someone criticize me, and also even threaten to fight me. And then so after I got out of that situation, and after I moved out, then I moved somewhere else, and now and since then, my life has gotten a lot better. And also, what's good is that my brother was there for me, and that he said he would help me with my living situation. And in a couple months, I'll be I'll be me and a couple of our friends are gonna buy a house, and this is gonna be my first house, which makes me feel really, really awesome, because since I'm gonna get my first house, that will uh 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 that will uh uh that will show that I'm on the uh on the right path for the person that I want to be.
Fuck yeah.
That's what's up, man. It's always fucking great when you find those reasons to believe that you're like on the path you're supposed to be on. That's fucking awesome, man. All right, who wants to go next?
Let BDV go. I feel like he's been speaking a lot.
I actually next was gonna be Sage, but she left because it's like midnight for her.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so
I've been getting volunteered a lot lately, though, but it's cool.
you want them accolades or not, motherfucker? Goddamn.
Exactly. Trying to help
What
you
you
out,
gonna
The
do?
baby.
mountain is.
The
I
completer in
want
chief?
to make it up. I want to make it up the mountain, but not the work of getting up the mountain.
He's like, no. I came here for the ski lift, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
I ain't coming no hiking. The fuck is this?
There's polar bears out there and shit.
All right, you're gonna be the lethargic legend himself, hype beast.
Yeah.
That's
All
what
right.
it is.
Let's get it.
Big hype.
So far, like my dreams is basically I want to become basically what my family would want from me, basically. And it's not, but like, finishing what they want from me is not exactly what I want myself. But I want to be something that I could look to in the future and be like, yeah, I did it. Because from growing up, I heard about my great grandfather. He built all the houses for my grandmothers and her sister on their land, and they sold for them being like people of color. They ended up having to sell their houses. The only person that had their house left was my grandmother, her sisters. And I'm like, why can't we just redo this?
Right?
Like, if he did it, we could do it again.
That's true.
Do it again. Do it again.
So I'm like, I want to take up that threshold
Oh,
for family.
actually,
Like,
the answer to that is housing and code, but yeah.
yeah, exactly. But in that time, I guess in their day age, there's things put in order to get houses from people of color.
Yeah.
And so that's basically what happened. Like, taxes went up and all types of bullshit came.
And mean gentrification.
Yeah.
Tough in the
So the whole
streets.
neighborhood went white, except for my grandmother. She's still there. But the thing is, like, I always see myself as like the person, like, I want to build our family back up from where we were before.
That's respectable as fuck.
I'm for that. Only way I can do is keep trying to succeed and doing better, move my way forward in life. Like,
That's right.
I'm always just support beam of my family no matter what. If they need bills paid or anything, come to Quan to help you. It can be my last and I'll give it.
You fucking keeping up that grandfather's legacy. I like it.
And so,
that shit right there.
if
That's
I had to simplify it, the best way I can say is I want to be a provider, a supporter, and also one day just start my own family and just be like the one crazy ass dad that does crazy shit.
It ain't gonna be fun,
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I also plan on when I get old and senile, I want to be that old man on the front porch with his bath towel open, with a BB gun, just sitting there, just doing random shit. Because I know everybody knows I'm old and they can't do shit about it.
Otherwise, you will go to jail.
Hey, I'm on my front porch. I'm in my yard. Why are you looking in my yard for?
But if your dick is staring down a 10-year-old, you're the one that goes to jail.
Hey, the whole entire front porch is fenced in.
Oh,
Why are you
I
looking
mean,
that
that's
hard
fine.
for?
That's whatever. As long as
Why are
no
you looking
kids
that
can
hard
see
for?
it. As long as no kids can see it. That's the concern. All right. Chris, how about you? Who is the person you see yourself becoming, that you want to be, the thing you strive for with self-actualization?
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I think the big thing is I'm on that path right now, which is kind of someone not only in my state, but I'd say even on a national level, of being kind of that role model mentorship figure for a lot of those people that don't have them. And it sounds kind of generic, but so far I've done, I'd say, a pretty good job about recruiting people and starting an organization. I have my own business where I'm actually getting people trained in and, doing outreach to a lot of the communities, especially like when Minneapolis shit was going on, weeks ago with the protests. I was kind of helping organize, not the protests, but more of like how can you actually help your community? Because protesting is one thing, and not to ruffle any feathers, but it's stupid back then because you have COVID. I mean, you're only going to make those communities worse because guess what? In Minneapolis, where I live next to, we don't really have the best healthcare system for a lot of the poverty people. So you got a bunch of people coming out there bringing COVID to everyone, and our cases spiked, and a shit ton of kids, especially, were dying. My sister works in one of the hospitals. But basically, I was trying to get them to understand like there's ways to get involved in the community with rebuilding, helping out food shelves, helping out in your community that empowers you more than just sitting and screaming. And I think that's my big thing, is trying to increase the level of understanding of there's a lot of people that have a lot of time on their hands, and there's so much they could do to help. And I feel like that's the biggest thing that people struggle with, is what do they do with their skill sets? So kind of empowering people with great skill sets, by making them know what their skills are, helping them to develop it, whether that's going through school, doing it on the side, starting their own business, and then kind of going into the community and helping with their own community. Except for there's not enough people that know what to do with themselves, basically, exactly what we're talking about right now, which is what's your self-worth, what's your self-identity, and what do you do with it once you find it out. So basically being an empowerment in the community.
Nice. That's awesome. Like I knew the answer for you already, because listening to you talk, you are definitely like passionate and like energized and hyped, and actually like with forethought. So not just writing the hype, but like feeding the hype with reality. So it's super happy when anybody gets the chance to do that. So I'm stoked for you, man.
I appreciate it,
Going
man.
up for president.
Oh yeah, I wish. Maybe
day.
we'll see.
One day, who knows? And I'll be like,
If I ever
I
run for government, I'm
remember
deleting my
when
Twitter account.
he watched cartoons about a man in a hat punching clowns.
Yeah, that'd be my my community would be my platform. Yeah, I'd be able to go One Piece stuff, man. I bet y'all seen anime yet? I get all the anime Twitter following it. Yeah.
Platform. But have
Yeah,
you
that'd be
watched
the best.
One Piece yet?
Right, that'd be the best marketing team, is the anime Twitter. If they disagree with me, people are gonna go stick on them.
Yeah, no, that would be the best marketing ever. All right, that leaves us.
If I ever run for government, I'm deleting my Twitter account.
It's not gonna help you because there's always a database.
Always.
But Vulture, you're up next.
At me?
Yes.
Okay. Who do I see myself becoming in the future? My ultimate goal really is just to sell weed. I know it does not sound amazing. Like, I'm not trying to change the world, not really helping people. I just really love botany and plants in all its forms. And
Wait, are we allowed to give cancerous ones too?
Yes, we
okay,
are.
I'm down for this.
It's not cancerous. I'm being serious.
He's being serious.
I love marijuana, but I also not only selling weed. I want to do some like ridiculous shit. Like I've always seen grow rooms that have been like amazing, like next level craftsmanship. I'm not a huge fan of like, the process of getting architecture done, but I can really.
I might need to link up with you then, Valley.
Oh shit, nigga, shit, I'm about it. We can get the paperwork drawn up soon. But
because I'm looking to legalize, like become a legalized merchant of marijuana down here in Florida.
Oh shit, really? That's fire. That'd be the perfect place too. because it's fucking water everywhere. But there's I always wanted to make like an underground facility, like an underground grow, and then just like line that bitch with fucking
Like a hobbit hole.
grow lights, like a hobbit hole.
Have you seen The Gentleman?
I have not. It sounds cool. What is that?
You have to see it.
I'm gonna put that on the list, man. BDB is hopping in with the help, and I appreciate that. But yeah,
it explains the whole way of how to sell weed underground and everything. Now he does it.
Ooh, exactly what I needed, because I needed a foothold to get that started. Yeah, fucking doing the shit underground, becoming a businessman, like managing multiple people, like having the confidence to do so. In the military, I had a chance to, become a sergeant and all that shit, but like taking charge of like other people and managing them and being responsible for them was never really my thing. And I kind of shied away from it, even though I had the motivation to try to, climb over adverse walls. That's just one of the things I kind of let defeat me. But I want to get back into it and get to the point where I can actually manage other people and be responsible for their livelihood and shit. Just kind of prove myself I can be responsible, not only for myself, but for other people. Because a lot of times in my life, even though I care about people deeply, sometimes even more than I should, I do have like a mean selfish streak. And it's just where I just think about myself. And I don't want to like have that for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone has their self-preservation, and of course, you got to think about yourself at some point, but I do it, I think, excessively. So I want to get to the point where I can really be a responsible man. And there's a lot of times I don't. Like, even though I know it's dumb, and he's probably not a fan of it, I don't really feel like I can talk to my dad a lot of the times unless I like get something accomplished or like feel like I've really done something with, I don't want to say with my life, but like something I can show him. Even though you should probably talk to your dad and anyone in your family as much as you can, because a lot of people who don't have them. But I just get this weird feeling like if I just come to him and I ain't did shit, he's gonna be like disappointed in me. So I want to get past that, and I also want to, actually do some shit with my life. So that's my that's what I see myself becoming, a responsible person who's responsible for more than one person, and have a a dope ass weed business and other plants, because there's a lot of plants out there that can help a lot of people. And if I can learn their secrets, I'll be able to become that, have like a dope ass skill set where I can incorporate nature into it, because nature is fucking wonderful. We come from nature. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's what you're trying to be right now, bro. That's what's up.
Yeah, fucking mushrooms and serums and little tiny fucking shit in a jar that can cure AIDS for no reason. All
don't
that.
Tell anybody, but that's how people get killed.
Don't tell anybody about the AIDS jar. Okay.
Look at the guy who made clear water out of just air. Mm-hmm. Gone.
Out of air.
Dead.
All right.
Murdered
Well,
technology hit.
Is Phoenix trying to say something?
well,
go ahead, Phoenix.
well, Vulture. Now, just letting you know, I want to get your weed business
Go black,
going.
you don't go back. I feel you.
I can
Whatever you're about to say might be best said after through DMs, maybe.
Yeah.
You better put me on game. I appreciate that, Phoenix.
let's take a second and we'll talk about that in DMs.
Yeah.
You see, I got these boats that go across the border, right? Wait, Phoenix, relax.
Wait a minute.
Let's have you guys talk about that after the stream. I think that would be best. Not to cut you off, man, but
it's deeply appreciated.
Yeah. All right. So, the person I want to become, I realize more and more every day, and I just want to help people. I have no fucking direction, but I know what makes me feel good about me. There's a reason, half the reason, other than the money, that I liked selling like jewelry was that people genuinely liked the things they got. They enjoyed them. I helped bring joy to somebody's life by helping them find something. Same with wine. Same when I looked into selling houses. Same when I looked into selling military equipment. Like, same when I looked into selling everything. The idea of helping somebody get something that they want, it fills me with an amazing sense of accomplishment. It's, if I were a junkie, that's the thing I'd be chasing. That's the dragon. So, with that in mind, the person I want to be is somebody who's in a position to actually help people. Like, not just like help people and then like help 15 people and then become like a close-knit thing where now we're all cool and now you're not, but like someplace where everybody's fucking cool. You know what I mean? Where it's not cliquey and everybody is more interested in helping somebody succeed than trying to succeed over somebody else. And now, don't get me wrong, we're all human. I myself have, you know, fallings in that area. But the idea of a community is that we're there to help each other when we fall. And that's one of the things I want to bring. I know I'm strong enough to help people, but I'm not strong enough to help everybody. You know what I mean? And that's why I have these mental health chats where we get to talk, we get to open up, we all get to be here and show that there's a fortified strength in the community that does care about the well-being of itself being the community in general. So I just want to be, like I said, I want to be the emotional all might of, I don't want to say Anna Twitter, but you know what I mean? I want to be somebody who, when I show up, they know, all right, shit's going to be okay. Like, maybe I won't be like punching monsters into blasting off again, but I can at least, you know, be someone to talk to. I'm actively working on getting like a text line so that people can just, you know, if they have something they need to talk about randomly and anonymously, just fucking text me. I got you. I'm here for you. You know what I mean? And I'm looking into doing more, because when I was speaking to Lonnie, who I feel bad about not being able to help today, even though he had the time, and it's the worst day for me. I want to help people who's like, if you want to stream, then do it. But people are like, well, I don't have all the hundreds of, you know, dollars worth of this. And I'm like, listen, what do you have? He was like, I have a PlayStation. I was like, bro, you got everything you need right there. All right, just go, just start it and go. It's really all there is to it. This way, when you actually grow, your growth seems more pizzazzy. You know, there's more like oomph to the growth rather than you start at the top and then you get better and better. And it's like, no, you know what I mean? And people just think they have to flex from jump. They got to be the guy that's got everything, you know? And I myself fell a little victim to that early. Like, y'all saw the ghetto ass green screen I had up. I don't know if you remember that, hanging up by strings and wire, because I just had to have it, but I didn't have the apparatus for it.
He's in there. He's flexing, subtle flexes.
I will now text Valen every time I'm sad.
Yeah, do it. It'll make you feel better.
Look at his phone right now.
What I
He'll laugh.
Is help. I just want to help, and that's what I see myself doing, as long as I can, and as much as I can. Like Chris said, it's being an active participant in the events around you, and I want to be an active participant for positivity.
That's facts.
Yeah, and that is where I see myself down the line, being an active participant in positivity. Not just for me or for my close friends, but for anybody that's, you know, brave enough to ask, or even if I ask them and they're just brave enough to say yes. Because sometimes you never know. All right.
Yes.
And that'll be the end of this. And as Hypebeast pointed out, life happens in every direction. So let's keep our hearts open and our hands clean, and remember that everybody's got a burden you can't see. Nobody knew Black Panther had stomach cancer. Some people called him precious. Some people called him pampered. Nobody knew of the battle he had because he hid it from everyone to project the strength that the culture needed. So just remember to be kind, because we're not all fighting battles that you can see.